Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Around the Indoor Football World. We are here this morning to talk about a ton of news. As you all know, last week we did a franchise founders episode, quote unquote. We talked to a bunch of different people that work in the front office, they own the team, or they've helped run teams, or they've been commissioners, all to kind of explain what goes into running an indoor football team. Some of the back office stuff that we don't really get to see as fans. So go back, check out that episode. But this episode, we've got 2 weeks worth of news to come at you with, and we're going to get into it real quick. But before we do, let's play a quick intro video, and then we'll get right into it. All right, so we're going to start with the TAL this morning since we do not have a guest other than Coach B down here for that segment. So the first thing I wanted to ask you guys about is the Arkansas Diamonds rebrand. I know we didn't really discuss this a couple weeks ago when it actually happened. What are your thoughts on the change? I mean, I was a big fan of the Wise Guys branding. I thought it was great. What do you guys think?
I think it was an excellent name and branding. You got to think about it. They did it a pick your city, so the city picked that name. So I think it meant something to the city. It meant something to the history of the team. To change it now, after 1 year, after you did a city pick the colors, pick the team name, and all that, I think it's a slap in the face to the city. Because that's what they wanted. That's what they asked for. That's what they voted on. That's what they begged for. That's where your fans is the city. So to change it right now, I understand that you got new ownership and they want to brand their company. They're a big company out there in Arkansas or nationally, I heard. But I don't think it was the right thing to do to change it just now because you already built a brand, you built a name, you was marketing Wise Guys. To change it after 1 year is kind of a slap in the face.
Fair point. I didn't really consider it from the brand aspect and from them actually having a part in choosing the prior name. So, I mean, that's definitely a good point there. Krish, what are your thoughts on the new brand?
Yeah, I would agree with Coach B. There's a big state park in Little Rock called Carter of Diamond State Park. So I don't know how much relationship that has with the name or anything, but I think it's really interesting. I heard the company and the family that's taken over this team is very, very wealthy. They have abundance of riches and resources. So I expect big things, and I think the only reason why they would move away from the Hot Springs Wise Guys is as great as that name is, maybe they were looking for something a little more put together and professional. So I don't really blame them, to be honest.
I can understand that thought process. There is a little bit of a cartoony aspect to the Wise Guys, but that's why I loved it. It was so unique. It was so different than anything anybody else had really done before. And it made sense to the community based off, how the mafia ties to hot springs in that area. So, I
Yes,
mean,
but
I thought it was
it,
really
it,
cool.
it was relevant to the history. I thought it made perfect sense. Like I think they hit it right on with that one right there.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, if you look in the comments of their logo announcement, I'll read a couple of them. Are you all not the Wise Guys anymore? I loved that name. Um, I loved the name Wise Guys, but I'm loyal to the state of Arkansas, so whatever creates more opportunities for the state is good by me. But the merch, then a change, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's crazy on the merch.
I think they did a buyback. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yes, I
Krish.
can confirm they did, and that's amazing. Hmm.
But another one, Arkansas Diamonds. I like the Wise Guys. As long as they still play in Hot Springs, that's all I care about. So I mean, I do like the underlying tone here. Is most of the fans are like, you know what? As long as they're in Arkansas, that's our team. That's awesome. I love to see that from the fans. But at the same time, I'm not personally a fan of the rebrand. I think the logo's great. I think it's very clean. Looks very professional, like Chris said. But I loved the Wise Guys name. Any other thoughts on this before we move on to? I mean, really, we got a ton of Wise Guys or Diamonds news to talk about today.
I like the name, but I don't like the logo.
That's fair. What would you have done with the logo?
It's still like it's trying to have some kind of Wise Guys look to it at the same time. But it got the diamond, and then still trying to have like something wise guys in there. I think so. I would have did something different and just had like the diamond with the city hot springs or something inside of it or something like that.
That'd be interesting. So Wookie says diamonds feel like they have ambitions beyond the TAL, and if the family
Yeah,
is involved in that industry, then I it makes sense. But if I correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it the Dells Corporation that purchased them?
yeah, the Dells, yeah. But
Okay.
the diamonds is one of the Dells' biggest ventures down there.
Okay. I was not aware of that. That makes sense. As an Italian, I like the wise guys, but as long as they still are here 10 years from now, I'm happy. Hey, that's what it's all about, truthfully, right? We all that's all we really want is for stability for these teams and leagues, but it was just an opinion based thing on the logo and the branding. But anyway, let's move on. In other news, they have extended Bones Bagante and began signing players. They got a wide receiver that Krish is very familiar with in Isaac Zico, and they also brought in Aaron Dilworth. Krish, I'm going to go to you on this one first. First of all, what do you think about the extension for Bones Bagante, and then what do you think about the moves they've made so far?
I'm happy for Bones. I mean, I've been on him since years. 2 years from now, I mean, he's a special person. He deserves all the success. He puts in a lot of work, a lot of time. Aaron Dilworth coming back is big. He's a face of that community. Him and Bones are going to high schools every week, and they're doing a tour where they speak to the football team. They visit the high school, and it's a really good thing for them to get involved. In terms of the other player that they signed, Isaac Zico, man, he's a great receiver. I wish him the best of luck. But the reality is, if you don't want to be here, then don't be here. You can go find a home. You can do whatever you want. Jawad will find someone better. So,
Well,
thank you
you
for
you
everything.
you and I both know,
So,
Chris, getting Zico, they had to pay some money to get Zico because Zico ain't coming for no little bit of
yeah,
change.
I mean, for me, man, like I want guys who are fully in. I don't want guys signing with other teams, messing with other teams. Like you're either here, or you're not. So he already has one foot out the door. So like I said, Jawad will find someone better. So I'm fine with that.
But Zico and Bones have a good relationship too. Bones was his OC at one point.
That's a good point. That was what my thought was immediately, and also shut down any speculation by me that he was going to be the next head coach of the Mass Pirates. But Ricky says they used to have a team called the Arkansas Diamonds in the IFL. Not to divert, but hey, Ricky, guess what I got today? My shirt. So,
I like
pretty
it.
excited about that. I also have a black one that says Beef Football. The standard is the standard, and they sent us a championship football, which was really cool. Love that touch. So I'm going to have a couple different footballs back here behind me in the future once I get everything set up.
Ricky might be on to something though. If that was a previous name of the IFL team, you don't think they hinting towards moving up to a bigger league, like they said in the comments, more professional look to build something else. Just like we think the Harbor Monsters might be moving, might be another team trying to move as well.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. If that's what the TAL ends up being, is just like a feeder league for bigger teams, or teams to bring in ownership and then go out, there's a market for that, right? I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. You establish a fan base, you establish a team, and you just slowly build up and build up, build up, get to the point where you're solvent, and then move to a bigger league with a bigger stage. I could definitely see that. And I mean, granted, based on what Coach O'Neill said in the past on the show, I think it would be a 3-year lease with the arena, if I'm not mistaken, Krish. So
Not all. Everything is different. It's a
okay.
lease with the league. So when they first the Duluth, the top four teams in the league, when we all came in, we signed a 3-year agreement to be in the league. That we couldn't switch leagues or anything until 3 years. So year three will be this season coming up. Then everybody has free range to go where they want to go.
Okay. Gotcha. So does that apply to the expansion franchises as well then?
Spencer's franchise, I think they did year by year, 1 year leases, just to see how it worked and where it went with it. Then they're gonna renew it after that. Because you see, Eclair had a few issues this year, so till they got the new ownership group, I don't know what they're gonna do now. If they're gonna stay, go. You see, Harbor Monsters got a new owner. So obviously the brand is speaking for itself, and owners are buying in.
I agree. I agree. I mean, it's a good move. It's a good move, and I'm super excited to see how the TAL's evolved in such a short amount of time. I mean, we've had so many leagues come and go, but the TAL has just continued to do pretty well overall. I know it's had its kind of bumps in the roads, but comparatively, it's pretty solid league so far. But
Yeah, we got a
Texas,
new owner too. So with not even with the Kelsey brothers, we got an actual majority owner. It's a big wig, a millionaire in the state of Missouri, especially owns a multitude of businesses in St. Joe. So I think the league is going in the right direction with the way they marketing it and doing everything because it's finding the right people, the right ownership to put in place. Now you teams ain't got to worry about where we getting paid at or where the stability coming from. We actually get they do the vetting on the ownership, I think.
makes sense. Makes sense. And I mean, honestly, it's an interesting setup entirely. And honestly, had I thought about it last week, we would have asked Tommy a little bit more about how the TAL is structured in terms of buying into ownership groups. So maybe there's perspective potential owners out there that could contact Tommy and have a better idea what they're looking at. But moving on a little bit. Shannon Brooks, a former Minnesota alum, has signed with the Duluth Harbor Monsters. Krish, I'm sure you got some thoughts on that. Big move, in my personal opinion. Brooks was in the CFL just a couple years ago with Edmonton. And I'm not talking on the practice squad. I'm talking on the field playing for Edmonton a couple years ago. So this is a huge move for the TAL in general and more importantly, Minnesota.
I mean, this is groundbreaking, man. I mean, Shannon Brooks, you could argue he's been one of the most consistent running backs in the IFL before he got hurt. I mean, he's a dog. And so for him to come, I don't want to say down, but it is down to the TAL. I mean, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to be a bruiser every play. He's back home. He's probably motivated. I mean, again, ownership, they invest. They want to get good players, and you respect it, and it shows. Putting someone like that, back home, putting them on like that, like I have so much respect for teams that want to go out and get quality players. So this is huge.
I think more importantly, not only do you get a quality player, but you get a quality player that fans in the area will know. And I think too
Sell
often,
tickets.
exactly, I think too often the people building the rosters on these teams don't quite think about that aspect of it. I mean, I'm sure in the back of their minds, they're like, okay, let's get local players. But when you go out and you get a guy like Shannon Brooks, who has a crazy story, who's been in the news and all this other stuff, you definitely draw some attention. So I think that's not a small factor in making this move. So I could see why you might see some inherent value on the franchise side of things in bringing that guy in.
What you say, Sam? Y'all say we got to sell tickets. That's the way you sell tickets. That's how you keep an organization together, right?
Yeah,
What's most important? You find players in the area that, like you said, people know or people are used to that actually gonna want to come and watch you sell tickets. I was fortunate this week to sign a player last week who sell tickets. Zach Mink played with the Quad City Steamboilers, top two Russian leader from the University of Loras College. Where Dubuque, we got Loras College right here. Only makes sense. He's gonna sell tickets. You got to think of the market.
yeah, I would agree. It's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Any other TAL topics that you guys have caught that I didn't put on the list this week?
Just the new ownership with Duluth. Duluth got the new owner that took over for the Kramer Group. One thing I can say, this league does find the right ownership, and I don't know if every team do it, but most teams I know has a minority ownership group and a majority ownership group. So I think that's the model they're using, and it's obviously working.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's something that we've talked about on here with a couple different people. It helps to kind of divvy up the financial burden and backing of the team. So yeah, it definitely makes sense to have minority ownership groups and majority ownership groups, like you stated there. Do we know who stepped in? I did not catch this announcement actually.
I saw it last night, and I was chatting with Tony a
Um,
little bit. I forgot his
yes.
name.
So Steve Walters, the GM, he's buying a stake in the team, and then there's this guy named Jacob Lambert who's been
Yeah,
involved with Duluth all 2 years. So he's a really good guy. He's a community driven person. If Coach O'Neill comes on, I think he can
he's
tell
a
us more.
he's a big time realtor out there, on a lot of property out there, does a lot for the city. I know that. So they did find somebody who is in. That's another thing. When you start a team, if you're an owner who is not from the city, you starting a team, you might want to look at investing in an owner that's local and letting them buy into your product, because that gives you an upper hand in the city that you're in. And if you find a good businessman in the city to be a part of your ownership group, who knows the city, who's in good with the city, who got some good rapport, then that you add an extra piece of marketing to your flavor.
True. True. I mean, honestly, it's interesting to hear that. I like the fact that their GM decided to buy in. Like, if you want to see a team that's invested, like look at that right there. You know, the GM obviously believes in the business model, believes in the team. That's a huge show of faith, I think, in my personal opinion. So,
If
uh,
you notice, our
that's
president
right.
bought in and got ownership as well. So I think that's another thing they're doing. They're giving coaches and GMs and presidents of the teams in the league stake and ownership, which you don't see from other leagues doing that.
That's fair. That's a fair point for sure. Um, Interesting. That could be an interesting business model for the future as well. Like I said, the TAL in general has they're just so different than anything else that's come before it that I've witnessed during my time in media. So it's so much fun to follow along and kind of see how they do things foundationally. But real quick, like I said, you said anything else? Anything else other than the ownership group? Okay,
That was
cool.
pretty much it so far in the TAL. That's this week. Just some couple big signings and new owners.
I do have one question to ask you guys. I noticed in the TAL, it was like immediately once their season finished, guys were starting to already sign players and bring them back. Did you like how quickly after the season that was allowed to happen?
I think we need a grace period. Honestly, I think we need a grace period to let coaches reset, let the organizations reset, and look at what they can do to build on for next year. At least wait a month. So I don't think we should start free agency or be able to sign until October 1st, honestly.
Krish, what are your thoughts?
I mean, if you're a player with Duluth, I think a re-signing is a no-brainer. I mean, if you're welcome back. I mean, I'll just tell you, a lot of players who are with Duluth are still staying in Duluth and doing community activation activities and stuff. So, I mean, I don't, I see what Coach B is saying though. I think a 2 week grace period could be good, and then you have like first rights to everyone on your roster for like 2-3 weeks. But I mean,
Yeah.
Coach B, if you're on Duluth, you're not leaving Duluth. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where you're kind of locked in with them, unless they don't want you back, in my opinion.
Or unless they want to go play for another coach. Remember, we told you it's about who they want to play for. It ain't always the program. It's about who they want to play for too. That plays a big factor in a lot of players' decisions nowadays.
True. Very true. I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick commercial break, and then we will be back. Hopefully, we will have our IFL guest on for this morning, on with us any second. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, wherever you're watching, go over, click the thumbs up, hit the like button. That helps us tremendously to get this pushed out to new viewers. And as of right now, we got some small numbers. We need your help.
How many times a week? Like three, four times maybe.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Once again, thank you to our partners over at the Omaha Beef. Check out their merchandise store. I just dropped the link in the chat. Also, always love to represent and help out Estime for Fitness. It's an athlete-run company. Kevin Estime, great guy. Most people know him at this level. Just probably the smiliest guy you'll ever meet in your life. So definitely try and support him as well. And we obviously get a kickback for that as well. So we
I
really
love his
appreciate
commercial. I love his commercial.
that was actually all me. I'm not gonna lie. I made
You,
that. So yeah, he didn't have anything when he came to us originally when we got hooked up with his affiliate program, and I figured I would put something together. He just sent me a bunch of pictures and videos that he had, and I just kind of spliced them all together, and that's what we came up with. So it came out pretty decently so far. But
word.
moving on to IFL, we
Go.
should have a guest coming on here shortly.
You got the door key?
But we can go ahead and get into the news of the week. There's quite a bit of coaching movement that we haven't touched on as of late. The first big move that I wanted to talk about was Andre Coles, former Tulsa Oilers offensive coordinator, has been hired by the Iowa Barnstormers, and Jonathan Bain was hired by the San Antonio Gunslingers. So, two assistant coaches getting the call up to be a head coach in the IFL. Krish, I'm sure you have some strong thoughts about both of these positions. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, for my boy Dre, I'm happy for Coach. I mean, I think he was on the show a couple of weeks ago. I think it's one of those things where, he's a young coach. He's been successful in the league before. But this is Iowa, and so this is a really tough environment. I think it's hard for any coach to have championship level success in Iowa. I'm not saying you can't make the playoffs, but winning a championship in Iowa is a long shot, and I think he knows that. So I think, if you look at Julie, ever since she took over at GM, they're 21-53 under her leadership. And so if that's not going to change, then I really don't. You know what I mean? And so it's a honeymoon period for him now because he's excited because he got the job. But once he really sees how the conditions are in Iowa, I think that might change him a little bit. For my guy Bain, I'm happy for Bain. I think Bain is, he's a young guy. He's energetic. This is an out of the box hire. I personally know why he got the job, but obviously I'm not going to go out and say that. I think Bain is he presents a very interesting style of coaching for the San Antonio team. I'll be honest, when I saw the hire, I said, my immediate thought was Bain is going to get a train roll on him in the Western Conference, right? He's not going to be able to handle it. But he went out and got Rod Miller, a veteran coach, to complement him. He hired Charles Williams, who is, was a documented head case when he played for Frisco, but he might have cleaned up his act because he's going into coaching. So, you're building a staff, and now you see, okay, maybe they might be competitive. My thing is that maybe you could get Bain for less money, surround him with a better staff, and invest more on the defensive side of the football, which is what they've always struggled with. So that's my playbook of success for San Antonio going into next year.
That's a good thought. That's a good thought for sure. And I mean, honestly, I think I'm always going to lean towards giving coordinators and position coaches an opportunity to be a head coach, because I think that you should earn that opportunity to be a head coach, and you kind of cut your teeth as a position coach. So while I think it's early in Jonathan Bain's career, if there's any player that I believe could make this jump from position coach to head coach, I think it's got to be him. He was always kind of a cerebral guy. A big part of the reason why he was successful as a player was not necessarily his physical talent, but his mental understanding of the game. So, I haven't talked to any players that were coached directly by him last season yet. But I would be willing to bet that some of them are pretty big fans of what he was able to bring to the table. So I'm curious to see what he can do. But Coach B, what are your thoughts on this? And then after that, we'll welcome on our new guest.
I like the hire. I actually had the opportunity to speak with Bain last year when I was the head coach of the Iowa Rampage. I was thinking about bringing him in, and I like everything he had to offer. What he said, the way he carried himself, the demeanor. Watching him last year in San Antonio, he carried himself like a professional. It really comes down to only thing I hate is it's all about in the IFL is who you know. It's not about giving guys the opportunity. It's who you know and who they want in there. Uh, so I think Bain did it right. He got an inside in there. And he was able to get the job, and they believed in his vision or what he was doing. And like I think it was for a little less money, and you do build his staff, pay his staff more to get the better output out of that team. Because I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the premier destination spots in the IFL. If I wanted to coach, I would want to coach in San Antonio or somewhere like that because I know they do it right. They take care of they coaches and the organization takes care of the players. You got all the amenities that you need to be a successful arena football player there. So now it's about him putting in the right system, putting the right coaches around him, and now they're building a sustainable roster for Coach Coles. I think that's a hell of a hire. I love Dre, man. I love it. I've been the last 2 years, I've been in Iowa trying to put on teams here. So for to see him get that opportunity when Frisco let him go, and then what he did with that offense last year in Tulsa, I just think he deserves it. I know he's the right guy for this. And I know Chris is not a fan of the GM and the owner out there, but I think she's trying to start something different. You got to give her a chance to recreate what she was doing. She probably seen, oh, all right, what I was doing is not working. Maybe it's time to go in a different direction. You never know what they agreed on, what the contract states, or how she's giving him range to build the team the way he wants it and do some things that he did in Frisco and other places in Tulsa. See, that's probably why she hired him for the enthusiasm, the youngness, the chemistry he brings with the players and in the city, and he's a face that everybody can love. If I had the opportunity, I'd jump on this staff ASAP. Des Moines is 2 hours from me. It wouldn't be a problem for me. I think it's a great hire. I think he's gonna change the culture up there, and I think they're gonna compete and they're gonna be a contender again. The history is there. The Barnstormers has always been a top tier team, and it's time to get back to that level.
Absolutely. Great thoughts.
I know one thing, TJ Edwards won't be coming and playing for 250. I know that. So that's going to be a uphill battle for sure. And try to get him
Hey,
to come out.
it ain't about the money. It's about the coach.
With a
So
player like that, MVP caliber, it's
hey,
when
you
he
told
comes
me you told me Dudley and them wouldn't come and play in the UIFA, but they in the UIFA, ain't they?
yes, because he lives in Iowa. So again, it's
Okay, different situation. But we're going to go ahead and welcome on our guest, the Northern Arizona Wranglers defensive coordinator, Coach Larry Hendrix. Good morning, Coach Hendrix. How are you doing?
Pretty good yourself. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Coach.
Thank you so much for coming on this morning. Really appreciate your time. I know it's pretty early out where you're at, so I really appreciate that you taking the time today.
No problem at all. And actually, I live in Dallas, so it's not bad.
There you go. So real quick, I'll start off on this front, and we'll kind of circle back around so we can get it in there twice. But I know you have a tryout coming up. Can you give us some details on the tryout, how much it costs for players, where it's located, all that fun stuff?
Yes, it's actually it's going to be December 6th. It's actually in Dallas. I actually coach high school football also. So it's at Bishop Bush High School. We actually did the same thing last year with Vegas being the keynote team. This year, we're opening it up to all leagues. So it's December 6th. It's $100. We have several leagues and coaches will be there. Coach Solomon, who's the new head coach for the Punishers, he'll be there. Victor Mann, good friend of mine, who's a head coach of Iowa Woo, he'll be there. T. Will from the Ruguru, he'll be there. So myself, my head coach, Coach James, will be there. We have the new, I don't know if I should give it out there, but the new GM from the Willing Miners will be there. So we'll have several other coaches who had confirmed with me, but we should have about 7 or 8 coaches from 5 or 6 different leagues there. So last year we produced, there's probably about 60 kids there. I know my starting corner, Duro, I signed him from there. I know Tulsa got a quarterback from there. Vegas got a receiver from there. So it's going to be a lot of talent.
I love that. Is there any place that teams that are interested in the data and the film from that they can go and get that, or is that strictly on-site type situation?
It's on-site. So you can go on, of course, my Facebook page or my IG and the flyers there. There's no pre-registration one. Now, if you want to, I had the same cell number for over 30 years, so most everybody has it. Or you can go to the Wranglers site and find my email address and send film to me that way if you like. I probably predict I've had probably about 50 calls already. Interested kids coming down. I got my eyes on a couple of them. I love to get my hands on physically, so we actually see what they got. Like I can promise you that it'll probably be 12, 15 guys get signed that day.
I love that. And these are just open submissions. Are you actively recruiting people to come to it?
Oh yes, it's open submission. So I got a number of agents who call me, who kids have been out a couple of years. And that's the thing about some of these trials. If a kid's been out for 2 or 3 years, you got to have some type of film, or you got to get in front of coach personally, because I can go back and look at your film, your highlight when you played, and you can look great, but you might have put on 10, 15, 20 pounds prior to that, and you got a little slower. Most kids don't. They hate when I say that, but I'm just being honest with them. So come out, get in shape, show us what you got, and you can get that shot.
There you go. There's the flyer right there. So
yeah.
If anybody wants to get signed up for that, we highly recommend it. Obviously, if you want to get seen by pro coaches, it's run by a pro coach. You can't ask for much better exposure than that if you're a player trying to get into the professional ranks. But Coach, we're going to kind of shift gears a little bit and talk about your coaching career.
Sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You were previously in Quad City with the Steamwheelers?
Yeah, so my background, I was in Quad in 19 and 24. My first professional coaching job was actually in 2011. I was a head coach for the Bricktown Brawlers of the IFL. I've been doing this for about 20 years. So I come up in a different era. I really grinded. I started coaching in 2007. Well, let me stop it there. My actual first head coaching job was actually in 2010. I was a head coach for the Allen Wranglers for a day. So I'm kind of interesting story. So if y'all don't know, I came out of retirement. I played professional football for a good while. I came out of retirement in 2001 and played for the Oklahoma Crew. So in 2002, I became the defensive coordinator. Well, 2003, they moved to Rome, Georgia, which is actually close to my mom. So didn't want to leave. I'm from Dallas. Didn't want to leave, so I stayed here. So in 2007, those who remember the Frisco Thunder of the IFL, the Intense Football League, came in. I was supposed to be their head coach. But their owner, his wife went to college with a good friend of mine who we played against, hired him. So screw his friends, but I got pissed. So I created my own team, went scrimmage them, and we beat the hell out of them. So those who don't know, the North Texas Crunch was a team of mine. So that year we actually played the American Airlines Center. So from that point on, just kind of build my resume from there. 2011 became the head coach of the Bricktown Brawlers for that year. Then my next big gig, I was the head coach for the Dallas Marshalls in the CIF from 15 to 19 to 15 to 18. We folded in 18, probably game 5, I do believe. Doug Blaine, who owns the Quad City Steamwheelers, he was my owner. He actually sold the team the year before to an individual. We all met the guy. I thought it was great. He wanted me to come to Quad City. I was like, no, I live in Dallas. I want to stay here. Didn't work out. So that following year, 19, of course, I became his defense coordinator up at Quad with Corey, because Corey, he was the head coach of the Omaha Beef at the time in Seattle. So we became great friends, So then, of course, 20 COVID, I didn't coach anywhere. Came home 2022. I was actually head coach for the North Texas Bulls in the AAL. 23, I went to Tucson, where I was the D coordinator there. 24, went back to Quad Cities. Now 25, 26, I'm over in Naz.
Wow. Quite the career. You've been just about everywhere, it sounds like. Sorry. Ricky says Jake Reed, former Minnesota Viking wide receiver.
Jake Reed. So Jake Reed's wife, her classmate at Grambling, got the job, and it pissed me off. So he was that coaching with the Beaumont Drillers. So I'm going way back in the NIFL. That's where I started. So we had like 35 or 40 teams back then. So yeah, we had teams there. I've been doing this a very, very long time.
Definitely. Coach B, do you have any questions for Coach Hendrix?
Man, I want to say it's a blessing, Coach. I don't think he remembered when he was the head coach for the Wranglers for that time. I
Yeah.
was one of the players that was signed down there.
Okay.
So, and then I followed you. You know, me and Aquinas Frazier.
Okay.
You
Oh,
know,
Q. Yes, Q's
yeah,
played for me. Oh
you
yeah.
know, Q played for you. He took a little bit from your playbook, Coach,
Yeah.
under you. So,
Oh yeah.
a little bit that's in my playbook is something from yours. So I watched you in Quad City, and when me and Q was the co-DCs out in Wichita last year,
Okay.
we put some stuff together that you did. So I just want to say congratulations on your coaching career where you came, and thank you for being a pillar to us young black coaches out here.
Oh yeah, I'm trying. Those don't know Coach Q, Coach Frazier. Y'all know his son. He's number 5 for Michigan State, the running back.
Yes.
So and he has another son. It's a linebacker coming out this year. He's another beast. Oh yeah. So it runs in his bloodline. But Q, yo, I was just on the phone yesterday. I actually signed 2 players from him from Corpus.
Yes.
I got
Yeah.
Robbie the O lineman and Robert the DN. So I've signed both of those kids. So yeah,
Okay.
so they'll be with me in Nash this year.
Okay.
Very
Good.
nice. Very nice.
My question is, Coach, how you do it
There you
so
go.
long? How you do
Well,
it so
it's just-
long?
Well, for me, it's first of all, it's the love of the game. Secondly, you got to have, because I've been married for over 30 years. So my wife got to allow me to do this too. so that's it, because I travel so much. But the best thing about now, since I was at Quad in 24, she's been able to come with me. So wherever I go, she goes. So we have a small business. So she doesn't have to stay home. So now it's a vacation for us. Like I said, I coach high school football during the fall. We actually have a game today. We play at Choctaw. We play in the Catholic Bowl down here in Dallas. So that's at 4:00 today. So during the fall, I'm here. And during the spring, whoever pay me the most money, that's where I go. And my wife's right along with me.
How is it? You say, I know you with NAZ right now, but how is it when you was in Quad City compared to where you at right now? And
Well-
is it ran to where you wanted to be ran at both organizations? How it was, and what's the structure of the IFL when it comes to teams?
It's okay. The basic structure is the same for every team. Now you got the pros and cons where you go. Now, one thing about Quad City for me is different. Corey's my little brother, love him to death. Me and Doug Bland love him to death. You know, I never met Doug when he hired me. Doug called me out of the blue to go coach in Dallas. Never met him. I'm from here, and a lot of people in Dallas know me. So the difference from these two perspectives is that the people that you know, not trying to be funny, you know, the budget's a little different. Nash came with some money that I couldn't turn down, and plus it gave me an opportunity to prove myself somewhere else. I always look for challenges. I do look for challenges wherever I go. When I was out of IFL and I went to the Sugar Skulls to play to be DC, I went on a mission. I wasn't getting paid a lot at all, but we had the second best defense in the league. So I'll go back to Quad, and same thing. We went to the playoffs. We had 2 rookie quarterbacks. So now I leave and I go to NAS, and same perspective. Coach James, I love him to death. Great guy. You know, he came from A1, a little transition for him, but now he understands. He knows what's going on. The defense I put on there was top 5. If you go look at stats, I hate to say it, love my people at Quad, but Quad was 13, I was 5. Just the fact they had Neil at the helm, killing it. And Corey's a hell of an offensive coordinator. He can put things together. So it's just a different structure. Now, the one biggest difference is Prescott Valley is really small, and the town really gets behind the players. They love them. Quad City is kind of the same way, but I think the fan base is more family oriented, more homely. I could go into Walmart. Hey, coach, how you doing? It's like, okay, who are you? You know, so they know you. If you need anything, they're there for you. So that's probably the biggest difference.
Okay.
That's awesome. I was going to ask what brought you to NAS, but now we kind of understand. So I have to ask, I mean, what's your small business outside of football?
Oh, well, my wife, she does credit repair, and she's a paralegal. So she's done that 25 years. So,
gotcha. So you can pretty much take that anywhere.
Legit credit repair does. So you got a lot of this. So legitly now when all these falsehoods running around. So yeah, we're doing about 25 years now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And man, being married for 25 years, congratulations on that as well. That's awesome. So obviously 2024 or 2025, I apologize, was kind of a rough year for Naz overall. As you mentioned, you had a couple rookies at quarterback. It seems like it's been a steady stream of rookie quarterbacks in Naz for a while now. How do you guys look to build on last season and continue to improve? I know you and Coach James have both signed extensions to return to NAS. So what are you looking for to improve overall as a team?
Well, first it starts at the quarterback position, which it does. So Ramon, those who know Ramon's actually he's a teacher. So when we couldn't get him at the beginning of the season because he was teaching over in Phoenix, so he couldn't come in to week 11. So he's actually moved up to Prescott Valley. And he's teaching there now. So we have him week 1. So we have a veteran quarterback on board, ready to go. That's the biggest thing in anyone that's in the league you play in. You got to have a veteran quarterback. Secondly, was our O-line. Coming into the season, Coach James, he comes from arena football, different style of play. You're looking for the big husky guys who can just make a wall, and there you go. Trying to explain to them in the indoors a little different. We can stunt, we can slant, and now we can twist. It's like the outdoor game now. So we got to get a little more finesse, a little more physicality, and, the guys. So we went that route from picking up Robbie, picking up these other kids. So, and those who don't know Coach James, who's played in the NFL, he's coaching in the NFL. He knows so many different coaches. The game day coordinator for Minnesota, he coached him. The offensive line coach from Carolina, he coached him. So this guy has a plethora of guys he can call and pick their brains about it. Love coaching wins. So that's the biggest thing. On the defensive side, I got some of my core guys back. And I'm filling them in with some guys who kind of ruthless. Those who watch their games know we're physical. And that's how I like to play. It kind of gets us in trouble sometimes with some of the penalties and whatnot, but I'd rather us play fast and physical than anything else. And injuries did hit us later in the year too. So,
Fair point. Coach B, do you have anything else?
Like you said, it was a rough year last year. Coach James getting acclimated to the IFL rules. You've been used to it for a while. This year, is there anything different you're trying to add to the coaching staff, bring in some help, or you guys trying to build and bring in just more veterans this year?
Well, this year, Coach James will be calling the offense this year for sure. So he's calling the offense. We will bring in a new coach, Cy Burley. He won't be with us this year. So as far as the team as a whole, like I said, our core, and most people look at the record, like your core guys, we hit Stoudemire, was a hell of a play. This guy, everybody's coming after him. Have we signed him back yet? No, we have not. But, every team in the league is looking at him. I had Karan Page, my 6'5" free safety. I coached his dad also. So I got him coming back. And I'm just looking for steady guys. A Mason, my tackle, my nose, trying to get him back. Those core guys are going to help us move on. But the biggest thing starts, of course, if you can't score points, you can't win. So it starts with our quarterback, Ramon Atkins. We get him day one. So that's the biggest thing. So having that veteran guy there, and y'all see some of the games, some of the numbers he put up this year. If you get him week 1, it's 19 weeks of football that we play. It's a long season. So if you get wins early, it helps you in the latter days instead of you trying to chase the wins, instead of getting wins early. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing for us this year.
Got you. All right. What do you say separates the IFL from the AF1, the NAL, TAL, and those other leagues? What makes this league unique?
Well, I've been doing this so long. So, and from my perspective itself, the biggest thing is structure and stability. From me coaching in NIFL, playing NIFL, coaching CIF, knowing all these different, the structure it's more stable in the IFL. So you have now, don't get me wrong, some other leagues they do pay more. They do. I know NAL. I've talked to some guys and they're, well, you're going to pay me such and such? No, I'm not. This is what you're going to get. But you got to look at the overall. I'm gonna give you a prime example. I'm not gonna put the team name out there, but they were paying guys $600-700 a game. Which, hey, great, go get your money. But their housing was horrible. They didn't provide food for them. They had to get your own. So in the IFL, it's a standardized contract across the board of $250. Plus you have your media guys, which you can get paid up to $550. Now you got NIL deals in place where you can go get it and pay your guys even more on that aspect. But our housing is A1. When we get off, I'll text you where our guys stay. And, we have to provide the guys 14 meals a week. These are staples. So the guys come and they just get to concentrate on playing football. Not worrying about how they're going to get the next meal. Not worrying about if the team has workman's comp. So those are the biggest things. And another thing I can say, and I can say this proudly, you get more guys get a little more shots. And it depends on the coach who you have. But overall, as a league, you get more guys get shots from upper tier leagues from us because of the style of play we have and some of the coaches you have in the league. So that I can say confidently.
Where's that guy?
How big of a part of your recruiting pitch is elevating players? I mean, we've all seen, there's a steady stream of IFL players going to the CFL and the UFL each season. How much does that factor into your recruiting pitch?
In mine, it doesn't. The reason being, I can't get you anywhere. Your film gets you there. So in my pitch, you're gonna get a hell of a coach. I'm gonna stay on your ass, and I don't play the homeboy hookup. If you can ask Q, Q's a hell of a player. When I first met Q, they told me where it is, and I just walked away. So okay, I ain't seen nothing on the field. So that's me. You're going to get Larry Hendrix. You're going to get a great coach. I'm going to teach you the responsibilities. I'm going to teach you the game, and the film that you put on, the play you put on tape moves you up. Now, do we have connections? Yes. Can we send them up? Yes. But all we can do is just send the film. Your play gets you there. I can't promise you. Now, I've had a player, you promised to get me such and such. No, I've never told you that. I told you that your play is going to get you there. And if you can't come here and dominate this league, do you think a team is going to move you up? No, they're not. You just can't be in here and be, second team all IFL and think a CFL team or UFL team finna sign you. It doesn't work that way. You have to come here and dominate. You got to show what you can, and then take some luck about who do you know and things like that. So if any coach comes in and recruits a player, I can get you here. That player went there. You don't know who that player knows. So I would never tell a kid that, and I would never hold myself to a standard of that caliber either. So.
Makes sense. Interesting approach. A couple comments here. Mike Davis says facts, talking about the player elevation. He says, my guy, Coach Hendrix. And then we also have Mike Legoy. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Does Coach follow the leagues and the other leagues and head coaches?
Oh, yeah. It's the coaching circle is very small. Guys know coaches. I'm on the phone with Coach Man, with Solo all the time, with Q. We grew up in this league together. I've coached these guys. I've coached against these guys. A player can call. I had a player call me, Coach, I'm ready. Okay, did your coach know you ready? Have you got your release from him? We're good friends, right? So most players have to realize this: the coaches talk all the time. We know everything. If I get a guy, let me call him real quick. Or a player said they played for me. A coach called me, Coach, do you know this guy? Hell, I don't know who he is. So players, please be aware that the coaching circle is very, very small. Be respectful when you're talking about other coaches to coaches. Don't try to demean. You may have some beefs with some coaches, but be professional. When you're going in, you got to deal with that situation, but carry yourself professionally so it doesn't hurt you in the long run. So.
I hope players are listening out there, because that was some great advice. I feel like there's too often times that the guys take to social media after they've left somewhere and they have bad things to say and stuff. And that's great. I get it. Obviously if there's real grievances, air those. But, at the same time, you have to understand that is going to have a negative effect at points and times as well. Your coaches are going to see that. So they look at social media. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
So it's something to think about. But I have great advice, Coach. I appreciate that, and appreciate your time this morning so far. But
you guys have a great day. Go Cowboys! Yep.
Go Cowboys!
Man, okay.
You already know it. Go Cowboys, baby.
There we go.
America's team.
Cowboys are going to have to lose. I did want to ask you, has anybody contacted you or reached out to you about some of these head coach openings currently?
Yes, I did. I got I had some inquiries about one. I wanted to go into detail. Then they called another head coach in the league and asked about me and asked would I be interested. And I told him yes, I would. But it didn't go too far. But after talking to Coach James and knowing I hate leaving things unfinished, so I was like, well, I heard we got some good things coming in 27. So let me go back and put my little sauce on Naz again, and we'll see what happens after that.
Absolutely. So you heard it here first. He will entertain a conversation for head coaching positions. I'm just saying. So if you're a prospective team out there looking for a head coach, you talked about it before. I mean, you've been coaching for what, 25 years now? At this point, roughly. So, I mean, you can't ask for much more experience. He's been a head coach. He's been a coordinator. He's done a little bit of everything. So if you're looking for a coach, give Coach Hendrix a shout, and we can definitely help you get in contact with him. Also, players, one more refresher. He does have a tryout coming up December 6th. I'll pull up the poster one more time for you guys in case you want to sign up for that. So here's the poster. But yeah, thank you, Coach Hendrix. Really appreciate your time this morning, and would love to have you back on in the future.
I appreciate you guys. You have a great morning.
Absolutely.
I'll be there at the showcase, Coach, representing the TAL.
Okay, sounds good. So I appreciate you.
Perfect. So glad we could hook that up as well. But on that note, we're going to hit a quick commercial break, and hopefully we'll have another guest joining us here soon. Thank you once again, Coach Hendrix, for your time, and we really appreciate you stopping by this morning.
Appreciate you.
Like three, four times maybe.
I'm gonna pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
I'm just being myself, cool as can be. When I'm being myself, you wish you were me. It's so easy. Get out your own way. It's just so easy.
All right, you heard it here first during the interview with Larry Hendrix. Saya Burley, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, will not be returning to NAS in 2025. This was kind of indicated by the fact that Hendrix got an extension, James got an extension, but there was nothing announced about Burley. I know for a fact Burley has been looking at other head coaching opportunities, and we will probably see him coaching somewhere in 2026. It just will not be NAS. So a little bit of information we didn't expect to get there, but that's how these interviews kind of work. But let's get back to the news for the IFL as of late. Is there anything in particular you guys want to discuss? No?
Nothing
Okay.
new. Just the signing of code. Oh, Billy Back, the new offensive coordinator for the Tulsa Oilers. That's pretty interesting to me, man. I think it's gonna be a drop off from what Coles had last year in the offense. Just my opinion. I don't see it.
I'm actually kind of curious. I mean, you think about it this way, like obviously Billy Back was the head coach in Frisco when Coles was the offensive coordinator there, right? With TJ Edwards, with Faison McClurge, with Meatball Carter, and all these guys that are already in Tulsa. Is this how you get those guys to stay? Chris, you're nodding ahead. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, they re-signed Dominic Smith, who, in my opinion, he didn't have his best season at all this past year. And so, obviously, I have to disagree with Coach B. I think, Andre Cole has probably learned so much from Billy Back. And I wouldn't be surprised how much of his offense is based on Billy Back's concepts. So, that's not a far-fetched idea at all. So I think it's an upgrade for Tulsa at that position. Again, you get all those Frisco guys to stay, because I know you think it's relationships. No player in their right mind would leave Tulsa to go to Iowa. Like look at the situations, Coach B. Look at the setup. Look at the housing.
Honestly, if you're looking at city-wise, yeah, Des Moines is a better city setup than Tulsa. So you're getting more out of the city of Des Moines. And you keep thinking about what happened these last few years. You don't know what it is. At the end of the day, Iowa still has good housing. heck of food places out there. They just got renamed. They sponsored by Casey's now. You know what I'm saying? And Casey's is one of the biggest corporations in the state of Iowa. It's you got to build. You got to start somewhere. Tulsa wasn't always the ideal spot anyway. Remember when the Talents was there? They had to leave because they wasn't getting the support, and they became the San Antonio Talents. So I ain't gonna lie to you, and just to piggyback off what you said, whose offense has been more productive? Andre Coles with Frisco and Tulsa, or Billy Backs with the Sugar Coles? No matter what, had the most productive offenses? And I will say that's
Who had the
Coles.
most resources? Right, resources
Yeah,
mean
I was
everything.
gonna say.
It,
That's
it don't it don't matter. It's the coach.
Well,
You gotta call plays. You gotta call plays, bro. He had the same offense in Wichita Falls for years. It was the number one offense in the league. When he went to Spokane, it dropped off a little bit, but he still had a good offense.
yeah.
A lot of people are catching up with Billy's offense, so a lot of people knows that now because he's been doing it for so long.
I that could be a possibility. I think that a lot of that has to do with resources in Tucson, though, because I don't think you can compare any of the people he's had line up at quarterback for him in the 2 seasons he's been there to TJ Edwards. And I'm a TJ Edwards truther. I'll sit here all day and tell you that that man should be outdoors. But at the same time, TJ Edwards is a high level indoor football quarterback. In the IFL, he's one of the best. There's no doubt about that. Hopefully he comes back 100% healthy from his injury, speaking of which. But at the same time, I think to compare what Coles did with Edwards to what Back has done with the guys he's had in Tucson, that's a little bit tough to me. Because Coles, at least for the last few years, has always had TJ all the way back to 2023, at least 2022. So have we really seen what Coles can do without Edwards? Other than last season when he had Sam Castronova and other high-level quarterbacks come in to fill in after the injury. I believe in Coles as a coach. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be a great head coach for Iowa. I just think that it's hard to compare the two with the situations that they had.
You put him in the right situation and put the right coaches and give if Julie gives him the right resources, I think they will be a contender
they
eventually.
won't
Not
be.
not not
Julie
not
will
this
never.
year, not this year, eventually down the line.
No, because
Well,
Julie
that's
will
the
never
thing, though.
give any resources.
Well, and that's the thing, though.
We don't
I
know that, Chris. We don't know that.
Yeah, they
She's on
could be
her third
changing
year
their
as
approach.
coach. Like she had Les Moss. They went 6-6 with Les Moss. Like
Things might
I
change.
love Les Moss, but Les Moss is a little older too. It ain't the same Les Moss you got when
Les
you
Moss
had
won a championship in Northern Arizona with less
right,
resources.
right. But I'm saying it ain't the same Les Moss you got. I still Northern Arizona coach ain't the same Les Moss you get in Jacksonville with the Jacksonville Sharks. He was a real shark when he was down there. He was one of the best coaches in the game down there.
But he's older. Like when you get I think it's gonna be. I see what you're saying, Coach. But like my opinion is like, look, Billy Bat. I love Coach Bat. I have good communication with him. I think he's a cool dude. But like he's irrelevant. Now, right? He won a championship in 2018 in the NAL. So now he's in the IFL. And so this move is going to hopefully help him become more relevant within the coaching, realm in the IFL. Like more, not relevant, maybe more respected. Let me just say that. Right? If he goes to Tulsa, they ball out, they have a top 3 offense in the league. It's like, all right, like, let's start looking at the sky, in a different lens. So it's almost like this is gonna kind of create his image around the league, if it's my opinion.
No,
Hey,
I completely agree with
make
that.
me a season. I'll be a season ticket holder of the Barnstormers while he's the coach.
That's fair, and I would firmly recommend anybody in the Iowa area, if you have not been to a Barnstormers game in a while, it might be your time to go to this season, because I firmly believe Coles is going to have that team be exciting, if nothing else. So, but we're going to go ahead and welcome on our next guest from the Jacksonville Sharks, Coach Troy Waranka. Did I pronounce that correctly? Waranka? Can you hear us, Coach?
You there, Coach? Coach Troy, you there?
All right, we'll see if we can't get that figured out. Coach Troy seemingly cannot hear us. But we are going to get him on here shortly. Was there any more IFL news that you guys wanted to discuss? Marvin Jones extended. Krish,
Yes.
I know you had been trumpeting the fact that he was on the last year of his deal this year. Are you surprised to see that he was extended?
I mean, look, in the press release, they said, he made the playoffs in only 3 years. So they're okay with a bare minimum standard. And that's fine. Some organizations are fine with a bare minimum. And so, they've done the bare minimum. They made the playoffs, and they also spent a bunch of money on the quarterback to lose by 32 points in the first round. But for me, it's like, I don't know, man. I mean, Marvin, Coach Marv, I think he was a hell of a coach for the Omaha Beef, but this is the IFL, man. Like, let's just be real. What it is. I mean, what has he won in the IFL? Nothing. He's been a losing coach in the IFL. But it's the name brand. People know Marvin. People know what Coach Jones did at Florida State. They know what he did in the NFL. And so if his name wasn't Coach Marvin Jones, he would not get an extension, I believe. Or let me put it this way. If he was with another organization that was more committed to winning, he would not get an extension. But this organization is fine with the bare minimum. So bringing in Billy back, or Coach back, I think is a move that maybe, he's trying to put people around him to push that team to the next level. But I was surprised when I saw that, to be honest, when he
I
got
think you need to add a defensive coach to that situation to help him out on defense
I agree
to
with that.
work with that. But I like the situation that coaches Marvin Jones in. It might be his name, but his name is selling tickets in Tulsa and they selling out arenas almost every week. And that's the name of the game. The crowd that they're getting is why he really there because they're selling tickets.
That's fair to a certain extent. I personally think Jones deserved another opportunity because we talk about resources a lot of times, right? Well, what resources did Tulsa have early on? It's not like, to my memory, if memory serves, they weren't really signing big name players up until this last season, right?
Yeah,
So
true.
maybe over the past, the first 2 seasons, they played it really leanly. He was just paying out that league minimum and, kind of given his 3 media players or whatever. And as things have gotten better, resources have gotten better. And now we're in a situation where they want to win and they want to win now. That's why we go see, we see moves like bringing in Andre Coles as offensive coordinator, bringing in Billy back, bringing in TJ Edwards, Faison McClurge. I mean, I don't want to speculate too much here. I don't know what those guys were making in Tulsa. I've never been told, but those are the type of guys that you're probably paying pretty well. So I'd be curious to hear, what it took to get them there. Okay, it sounds like Coach Troy might have us figured out now. Coach, can you hear us okay? Oh, maybe not. All right. Looks like he is browsing currently. So, never mind. Let's see. We go. Coach, can you hear us okay?
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Perfect. How do you pronounce your last name, Coach?
Waranka.
Waranka. Okay, I definitely butchered that the first time. I apologize.
That's okay. Everybody does.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate your time. Krish, I'll let you kick this one off since you got him on the show today.
Yeah, Coach Troy, I appreciate you coming on. I think my first question for you is, as you approach this off season, what do you feel is the biggest position of need in terms of the football team?
You got to repeat that. You got a little echo.
Oh, yeah, no. So, as you approach this off season, what do you think is the biggest position that you want to improve on or, kind of recruit better at, you would say?
So if you follow the Sharks last season, our biggest hiccup was kick return special teams. We didn't get that in line until late in the season, probably game 11. So this offseason, free agency is getting ready to open up. So we're looking at special teams. We got Jimmy Robinson coming back. So some of our key people are returning already. And so definitely special teams and the O-line.
Obviously, offensive line is one of the most important position groups in any team, especially in the IFL where it's very run heavy. What's the first trait that you look for in a prospective offensive lineman for the Sharks?
So the key about IFL or indoor arena football is a lot of these guys have either made it, D1, JUCO, whatever it may be. Last year we had 2 linemen that came from Alabama and both on championship teams. Some guys that don't make it, get to the NFL, but get, cut or whatever. So the most important thing for us is that they're coachable. There's a big difference from a 100-yard game outdoor to a 50-yard game indoor, especially with how aggressive and quick arena football is. So a lot of guys think they know the game, and then you put them out there and they just don't know the game. So we're just making sure that they're coachable. We can give you everything you need and all the tools. You're the one that has the body and the brain. So it's not rocket science, but you just got to be coachable.
Makes sense. Coach B, you got anything?
Coach Troy, where do you think you guys need to be this year to get over that hump and be a top contender in the league? I know you said O-line and the kick returner, but as far as, do you think I need to add to the coaching staff, add to the organization to get you over that hump?
So Coach Gibson's a 22-year veteran of the arena from Columbus all the way to Jacksonville, high school, etc. Where we need to be is in Tucson, Arizona in August. That's where we need to be. Where we want to be, at the hotel celebrating after the Tucson game. Every coach is going to tell you the same thing. The goal of every team is a championship. Jacksonville is a storied arena football city. 2 AFL championships, 2 NAL championships. So we got 4 banners hanging at the ViStar Arena, and now we got to work on that IFL. So we came into the IFL in 2024, 6-10. Last year, 10-6 with a playoff. So our goal this year is obviously the next step is that championship game. As far as personnel, we got Coach Clay Harrell coming back. If you followed him, he's an Arena League veteran. Guys, everybody builds up their coaches and their team, but I'm going to tell you that's if a team hasn't reached out to him for a head coach job, there's something wrong with that team because that guy really knows arena football. He knows it from a player side, a coach's side. So the good thing for me is that Coach Harrell's coming back. So you got Coach Gibson, myself, Coach Harrell, Coach Brubaker. A couple other coach positions are coming in. We do have some quality control positions available if anybody's looking. The good thing about the Sharks is, we got full-time trainer on staff. That's a staff employee, so we always have a trainer. We've got one of the best orthopedic organizations around. So all around, I think we have the key components to get where we want to get in Tucson. It's just the personnel. If you guys are great, and I appreciate everything you guys do. You follow the IFL, the IFL. Todd's a great guy. I think he's taking the league where it needs to go in certain ways. Got to work a little bit on the officiating, but that's across the board. That's not just IFL. That's every league and every football game. So now it's just all personnel. It's all about the key components, the key players, and who's going to be that leader, who's going to be that captain. And if anybody's watching that is thinking about the Sharks, I'm going to tell you right now, don't show up with your drama, because we'll call your mama to come get you. We want dogs. We want dogs that want to come out and play football. We want, on defense, we want 8 helmets running to the ball no matter what. On offense, we want leaders and protectors. On the bench, we want guys that are going to build up your teammates. You know, we're a core organization. Coach Gibson promotes it and preaches it. So I know it was long-winded, but we want to be in Tucson. We're going to get to Tucson, and then we're going to celebrate the championship.
That was a perfect answer, I'd say. Krish, you got anything else?
Coach, when you guys came up and played us in Lowell this year, one player that kind of stood out to me the most was Malik Jones, defensive back from Delta State. Talk to me about his development as a leader throughout the season.
So, AKA the blanket. So I put it out there. Malik came to us, and I'll tell you, from camp all the way to the first game, what an amazing young man. I mean, he's a good. He follows his faith. He just recently had a daughter. Obviously, father to a daughter. So that was kind of hard for him mentally to leave behind becoming a first-time father, to chase his dreams, to be able to provide a better future for his child. But development-wise as a player, he worked really good with Chris Robinson, who was our DB coach back then, and Clay, Harold, DC, and he developed. I'm going to say a little, man, that guy's just everywhere. It became so bad that we were here. Where were we? I think we were in Fisher. We were playing Fisher Freight. And within the first 2 minutes of the game, he was ejected for personal foul. I'm like, unsportsmanlike conduct. I'm like, what's going on? That's how much of a threat he was when he was on the field. I mean, I think he led the league. He was first team all IFL with his interceptions, pass deflections. Man, they just didn't want to throw where he was at. And the funny part is he covered the whole backfield. His speed was amazing. So Malik, I know Malik's got a UFL tryout. I think a lot of guys are going to the open camps, but man, I praise up Malik. Malik's a great kid. If we haven't re-signed him yet, but if somebody out there wants to, you're going to get a heck of a DB.
And then I think my final question for you today would be, the IFL schedule is anticipated to come out at the end of October. Is there any model or kind of formula you hope that is implemented in this year's schedule compared to last year?
So if you saw our schedule last year, we played Mass 3 times. That's an man, I don't even want to go there. We're not even going to bring the X's and O's out on that one. But, there were several teams that had multiple games against, other teams, and, the Thursday games and then the Friday games. And I get it because of the arenas and concerts and things like that. But I just wish they kept it more in-house, East and West, because this is hard on travel. Even Green Bay now, with Green Bay and Mass are the 2 most northern teams. So it's hard on travel days. You get practice cut short. So I hope that when they put out the schedule, they put, more East Coast, maybe 1 or 2 West Coast just to offset it, and then make it a true East versus West playoff or championship.
Not a bad idea at all. Not a bad idea. Coach B, you have anything else for Coach?
I was gonna ask him what entices him players to come to Jacksonville, but he already said it. So good luck on this season, Coach Troy. I love Jacksonville. Make sure you guys are a contender because I'm gonna be watching and like what you did at the last half of the season last year. So I'm tuned in, and you got a fan out of me.
So I'll tell you guys this: Duval, you know what's up. No other city in the IFL got that. Duval.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you for your time today, Coach. We really appreciate you coming on and discussing the team with us a little bit more. Is there anything you want to shout out or anybody you want to shout out before you get out here?
Hey, just real quick, open tryouts, free agent open tryouts, October 25th. We're doing that in conjunction with the Jaguars at the Jaguar Indoor Practice Facility, so that's pretty good. So we have that relationship. Shout out to the ownership, the teams, all the IFL teams, all the IFL back of house people. Man, I tell you, we hit the road, and those opposing teams really put out the red carpet for the teams that are coming in. So I want to give a shout out to all them organizations that we play against, because we've never had a bad experience across the board. So IFL is top notch, man. Way to go. And I appreciate all what you guys do, bringing the awareness of the IFL to everybody. And shout out to Coach Gibson, Coach Clay, Coach Robinson, everybody else at the Sharks organization. Duval.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Have a great day. And we
Thank
will
y'all.
look forward to speaking with you in the future. We're going to hit another quick commercial, and then we'll be back with AF1 defensive tackle, or former AF1 defensive tackle, current UFL defensive tackle,
Like three or four times, maybe.
I'm gonna pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like Boomstick Lady. No free throw is safe from the roar of her sticks. SeatGeek helps her find a seat in the direct eye line of the shooter so she can sit where her boomsticks make the biggest boom. Everybody okay? SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
All right, we are back with defensive tackle Robert Cooper. Mr. Cooper, first of all, congratulations on signing with the Houston Roughnecks I think it was about a week ago at this point.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Man, that was something big, and definitely prepared to keep working and doing what I'm supposed to do.
Definitely. Well, I'm very excited for you. Always love to see players get the chance to move up, and I think Houston definitely needs a couple pieces up there up front. So I'm sure you have a good opportunity to make the team this year. So I'm excited for that as well.
Yes,
So I have to ask, I mean, obviously you have some pretty extensive experience at the professional level, and I know you've been with multiple NFL franchises. So I have to ask, I mean, what was it like for you to adapt from your NFL experience to come down into the AF1 and play there to kind of reignite your football career?
I mean, like I was telling, a lot of my D-line coach when I was there, Coach Gibson and, Coach Thomas, that the speed of the game was, literally the same. I mean, I guess because, it's, 8-on-8, but coming from the NFL to here, I mean, the speed of the game didn't change for me. So I know that was something that I was, looking forward to helping me a lot, stay ready for the NFL. But other than that, man, it was physical. So I think that was one of the best things that, helped me throughout this process, of seeing how, everybody was bringing that physicality to each practice, each game. Like, people walk around like, I mean, it's just football. But other than that, I just loved this. It allowed me to work on my pass rush abilities, because I was always a great run stopper. I was always good against the run, but being able to get a man one-on-one and, work on my sacks and work on my moves that I have to do, and just seeing how it was, getting better for me each week and growing from that. So I have to say those were the best things that came for me in this league.
Love it. Krish, do you have anything for Robert?
Yeah, Robert, I appreciate your time. One of my questions for you is kind of if you look at the AF1, as a whole from a league operations standpoint, what do you think about the league now that you're, out of it and you moved up? What do you think the league needs to do to kind of improve, on a player relation side?
For my first season, the only thing that I'll probably say is, I mean, the way we did it at Southwest Kansas, I literally had no complaints. I mean, I heard a lot of things going on other teams, but I mean, speaking from Southwest Kansas, I mean, the only thing I can say is probably man, it's hard. I really have no, I mean, no negative, no nothing bad about AF1. I mean, I was more surprised when I first got there in February of how great it was ran, because I thought arena football wasn't. I used to play the video game when I was a kid, so I never heard of any arena football opportunities until last year. But I mean, being in it was just amazing. I mean, everything was ran good to me. I felt comfortable. The whole team felt comfortable, and just knowing that they made it easier for us to come together and play together. And I mean, we all gelled. It didn't take us long, because the way they set us up with meeting different people around the city, having us eat together, meetings together. I mean, everything felt the same. So I mean, it's kind of hard to answer this question, because I mean, I had one of the best times I had in Southwest Kansas. So I mean, I'm pretty sure other teams probably wouldn't say the same, but I know Southwest Kansas, they made my life smooth on the football aspect of things.
And the one follow-up question I wanted to ask for that, there's a lot of hesitancy sometimes with guys from the Power Four to come to the AF1 and, continue to pursue their professional careers. What would your biggest piece of advice be for a prospective Power Four player looking to play arena football?
Man, keep that, like I tell anybody, just keep that confidence. That's something that's special. Just knowing that the work that you put in should make you confident enough to know that, that same thing with me. Everybody asks me why the AF1. It's just confidence knowing that the work that I put in is going to set yourself up for what you want. So, like I was telling my guys at Southwest Kansas, I know everybody has, big dreams, but your confidence can't go away, and that work can't go away. But yeah, that was pretty much.
Coach B, do you have anything?
What's up, Rob, man?
Coach B, what's going on, baby?
You got it, man. You know you the truth, man. Hey, I appreciate everything you done to help improve the league and just indoor arena football around by coming here. What would you say to tell younger guys about making that transition from being a pro and coming from a D1 to arena, or just transitioning to arena? What would you tell them? What advice would you give rookies or
Man, I'll
guys coming in?
I'll say take advantage of every opportunity you get, because I still tell. I mean, people ask me to this day, why did you do AF1? I mean, that's an opportunity. If you really love the game, that's just. I mean, you can take football out of it. If you love anything you do, you're not going to pass up any opportunity. And I always tell people the arena football helped me so much, because not only was it physical, I got to work on things that I needed work on that I had trouble with at Florida State, that I had trouble with in the NFL, that I got to the AF1, and I feel way more comfortable about pass rushing than I did any other part of my career. Because just the fact that I took that opportunity and did what I was supposed to do, and I came out better than what I was, and that took me from February till the end of the season in July. So that's what I said, man, take advantage of every opportunity you get, because I know a lot of people when I first got there, hearing some of the talk around the league, some guys just just they, I don't know, confidence is low, just they want to be somewhere bigger, but man, you got to take advantage of every opportunity you get. Because if I was walking around like that all my whole season at AF1, then I probably wouldn't have got better. So I think I'll say about that, Coach B.
to tell the guys out here, because I know a lot of people be hesitant when they hear about Southwest Kansas. They be like, "Man, we got to go to this small town over here in
Yeah,
Garden City."
yeah,
Let them know what Southwest Kansas did to you as a player, and what they provide as an organization. Because from you and other players, I hear it's top tier over there. It might be
yeah.
a small town, but got big city vibes.
I mean, it does. It's just you feel as the season went on, you just feel respected. It's just because the whole city's with you. And, you know, it's like you said, it's a small city, but if it feel big when everybody with you. But other than that, I mean, Southwest Kansas did a lot for me because outside of the arena, they was putting me in positions to speak in front of elementary schools, middle schools, and just getting a chance to because I did it here at Florida State, so just still getting that continued impact and still learning how to impact the younger generation. So being just doing that and uh, getting some different, I won't say work, but different aspects of things. So it introduced me a lot to like I never been nowhere near no dirt road or farms. So just being so going through a whole, seeing farmland everywhere. Now knowing some farmers. Now I'm digging my mind into, I never, who knows, I might want to do farming in the future. I mean, there's so much money in that. So you're just seeing so many different, I was being introduced to so many different things. And I mean, like I said, this would have never happened if I didn't take that opportunity to come to Southwest Kansas. But yeah, they just putting me in front of everybody and just allowing me to have, actually not just me, just the whole team, allowing the whole team just to have the impact in the city. There's everything we did, even though we was at the YMCA working out. It was people coming up to us, when's the game, man? Y'all did great, like, and now some of the guys saying like, they didn't get that last year. So just seeing, just because me, I'm all about impact. As long as I can go somewhere and I'm positively impacting people, I feel like I'm good. So that's when you're at Southwest, baby, that's what it feels like. You putting in the work and it, not only you, the coaches, everybody involved. So yes, everybody
Hey,
respects it.
Shady raves about Southwest. You know, that's it. That's his team. So I see why now. You know what I'm saying? And congratulations on getting signed to the UFL. You know, Coach B watching. I get another
Appreciate
opportunity. You know, I'm calling. You
you.
know,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
calling, baby.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Coach B.
You guys have a prior relationship?
Just knowing, watching him, man. I watched him over the years. I had a player who knew him. I was gonna try to get him last year, Iowa Red Page, and it did work out. But I love everything about what he brings, professionalism, just as a young black man carrying himself in communities. I appreciate the way he handles himself as a professional.
Appreciate you, Coach B.
That's awesome. One thing I wanted to ask you about and give you the opportunity to hopefully expose some new fans to it. You run a podcast called In the Coop, correct?
Oh yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. How
Yes,
did that
sir.
all come about? And tell us a little bit about the show and where people can find it.
Oh well, it's In the Coop podcast. You can find it on YouTube. But it's funny how it started. Well, I don't. To me, it is because this is when NIL first came about. This is when NIL first dropped on the scene. Florida State. I'm grateful for Florida State. I did my 5 years here, but they always know me from you know, my energy. I'm always outgoing, trying to, affect the next person. So they was at practice, I'm always like, when it's not serious in practice, I like to bring the vibes, make sure people enjoying and smiling, enjoying practice. And everybody kept saying, "Dang, Coop, you need your own show." And then I guess it kept going so much. I didn't know how to run no show, so I didn't pay it no mind. And then one of my guys at War Chant Aslan, he texted me with the idea of starting a podcast for, NIL deals. So I was like, I wouldn't mind doing that every Monday. So they was paying me to do that every Monday. And it was where we basically go over the game, what happened on Saturday, any questions the fans had or, anything in the community we can talk about. But that went on for that whole year, my last year at Florida State. And then as I went on to the NFL, took a break off it because, it was NIL. So I left it in college. Then um, after I got cut, I was just sitting at home and everybody was asking me, when's the next In the Coop podcast episode? I wasn't running it, so I have no idea. I was just the person behind the camera talk. I didn't know how to do none of that. So I kept getting that so much. I'm like, I need to figure this out. So I figured it out. Ended up making things happen. Ended up getting one of my old teammates, Christian Meadows, and I mean we took off. I mean, basically tried to leave off where try to continue where we left off, but so it's not entirely new, but yeah, that's pretty much how it came about. And I brought in my linebacker, Kalen DeLoach, also in the UFL as well. So yeah, I feel like it was always good to have some Seminoles, at least former Seminoles, that can that played with Coach Norvell, that can give a real insight, because I know a lot of people don't. Well, I know a lot of people in the Tallahassee area get tired of hearing, the same old, same old. Because media can't say certain things, media can't say that. But I'm not media, so I can say what I can say whatever. So, I try to, I keep it respectful though. I still follow the rules. Like like at Florida State, you don't talk about injuries, you don't talk about certain things, because I know, hey, I don't want to get banned or nothing because I'm saying nothing crazy. But yeah, it's been a joy. Even though when I go back to go train like last week, I mean, people still watching it. So even as coaches, players, I'm still surprised. But that's why I say I always gotta always be mindful they watching.
Agreed. You never know who's watching, but
Yeah.
if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you go subscribe to In the Coop podcast on YouTube. I've caught a couple episodes. It's very entertaining. You guys have great energy on the show the whole time, so it's a lot of fun to watch. But we have a question in the chat for you. When you interviewed with CJ Johnson, or the coaching staff, we should say, what are they looking to do to make the Roughnecks competitive this season, and how do you fit in with that plan?
Oh, they just, man. Well, I talked to I talked to the staff, but I mean, they want guys who's hungry and wants to prove something. I mean, that's the spirit they gave to me, and that's exactly who I am, and I know that's pretty much who they're going to go be getting, because I know they didn't have one of the best seasons last year, but he said that they want guys who's hungry and willing to fight. So I told him, I mean, that's what I plan to do. I mean, I'm a nose tackle. I'm gonna get the job done no matter what. I don't care if it's clean, nasty. I'm gonna get the job done, and I'm gonna work as hard as I can to make this team as great as it can be. So, I'm only one of 11, or one of how many players on the roster, but I know if I do my job and do what's expected of me, everything will work out just fine. But other than that, I feel like I fit in well with this team. Just knowing what they're looking for, and knowing that that's exactly what I'm. That's the part of my career that I'm in. I'm just all the stuff that I learned from the AF1 and my past 3 NFL organizations, just knowing how to be a pro, and that's another thing I can go back to AF1. It really taught me how to be a pro, because while I was in Seattle and Miami and Philadelphia, I was coming off a shoulder injury, so I didn't really get a chance to do what I do. But when I got to Southwest Kansas, I was healthy the whole season, so it really taught me, how to be a pro, when to work out, how to, if I watch, things, because you ain't got a coach with you there all day, you ain't got a schedule to follow. I mean, you do, but it ain't, like a college schedule. So yeah, I feel being a pro. But other than that, the Houston Roughnecks, man, they're going to get exactly what they're looking for out of me, maybe a little bit more, but I'm just ready to go. Like I told Will, just ready to go. And like I said, you still training every day. Like I ain't got nothing. So I'm going.
Hey Sam, Houston got a couple former arena football players on their roster, huh? So Houston might be a AFL hotbed for
Yeah.
indoor arena football players. So y'all represent us well, man. Go out there and represent us.
And that's another thing I want to say, just knowing that it ain't just Florida State and myself that I'm repping. It's not only for AF1, Southwest Kansas is the whole thing. That's like I told Sam. I just hope that with me and Jalen, and I think some players in Albany did too. But I hope that gives everybody the confidence that they need. That just be just be who you want to be. Take advantage of every opportunity, man. That's what I told. Even when some of my teammates texted me congratulations, I appreciate them, but just know that hey, it don't have to be just me. This goes to show you, man, it could be anybody. Because you seen how I was working. I came to work every day. I didn't complain. It is what it is. So that's just yeah.
No, I honestly have, like Coach B said, that's what it's all about, providing opportunities and eventually in the long run, getting players where they belong. And something tells me about this time next year, you'll be preparing for an NFL season
Yes,
if
sir.
everything goes according to plan. But I wanted to talk about something that I hope you're comfortable discussing. When you came out of college, you were quite a bit different of a player. You're more of a
Oh
true
yeah.
nose tackle. You spoke about it before. You're more of a pass rusher now. You've kind of reinvented yourself as a player to get where you're at today. And how have you done that? I mean, I know. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't want to misspeak. So if I say something wrong, please correct me. But you were around the 330 range when you came out of college, and you're now down to like 290 ish, 293, something like that.
All right. So yeah, I left college. So actually, I left college underweight because I had a shoulder surgery that I was dealing with. I was actually like around the 290s, 300s when I was coming out, but I didn't want to be like that. But now I'm 325. This is my playing weight. I told Houston. I mean, I feel like because I came into college at 410 pounds, so I done played at every weight through the 300s, and I told everybody, I feel like my best football is made out of that 325, 330 range. So yeah, that was that's how it went. But yeah, I mean, what took for me to do that, I mean, it was a lot of hard work because just coming from being a guy who was like I told you I was 410 pounds, so just knowing that just it's possible, and knowing that my whole journey I went through from the 390s, 380s, 370s, 360s all the way down. So I knew that my coach always told me run, you can get paid to stop the run on first, second down, but do you want to be out there on that third down? And I say, yeah. He said, well, you have to drop some weight and learn how to rush that passer. So I always believed I could rush the passer at the 390, 380 level, but but for consistency and longevity, I knew I had to bring it down. And when I was bringing my weight down, I noticed I was moving a little quicker. So now, I'm just trying to put it all together. But yeah, I mean, it was tough. Some days where you would get on the scale, you only lost about a pound, and you're like, man. But like I said, I just kept working, and I knew the end goal. I knew what I wanted to be when this was all said and done. So um, I think that's what helped me a lot, and that goes back to me learning how to be a pro. Even when I left college, I still had to gain 30 pounds back and my strength, all without you know going off of what I learned throughout my every phase I was at. So that was probably the biggest adversity I'll ever face, and that helped me mold me into the man I am today. Just going through that, and a lot of people saying you won't do it, you can't do it. There's no way a 400-pound man can get this low, but that's just what I've been dealing with my whole life. So I knew that. I knew if I stayed to it, stuck to it, everything would work out. Especially, I was at Florida State, so if I can take what they taught me and put it to use, I mean, I know it's going to work. So that's was all I did.
There you go.
That goes to say that if you really believe in your craft and you really want it that bad, you're gonna do whatever it takes to get there. And
Yep,
you're a true believer of that.
true. Yep, that's
Uh,
I am.
Krish, Coach B, you guys got anything else for Robert?
I'm watching, baby. Keep
Yes,
coming.
sir. I got y'all, man. I got you.
Krish, anything else for Robert? Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Robert. Really
Got you.
appreciate it. Once again, make sure you go subscribe to In the Coop podcast on YouTube. Check it out. You said it was every Monday night?
Every Monday and Thursday, because Monday we just go over the Florida State games in week 3 and stuff. But yeah, Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. But no, I definitely
Awesome.
appreciate you, Sam, Coach B, Chris, man. Appreciate y'all having me, man. I know it'll be a no hesitation for me to do this again, man. And Sam, we go back, dog. I appreciate everything you do for me, and yeah, I'll see y'all next time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and we'll definitely have you back on. Hopefully, right after you win a UFL championship.
I got you. Y'all have a good one.
There you go. You guys talk to you later. Yeah, that was Robert Cooper, one of the guys that I've been able to connect with off the camera. Great dude. Super excited to see him get this opportunity, and honestly, just another player that's opening the door for future arena football players. And really opening the door for multiple players that may not otherwise consider arena football. So we need guys like him in the sport to really kind of bring respectability and professionalism. And he did just that. And he's back where he belongs, along with Jalen Morton and Sam Castronova and, Isaiah Scott and so many others from the AF1 and other leagues like it. So love to see guys get opportunities. But we can get back to the AF1 news. We got quite a bit to talk about from the AF1 that we haven't really discussed as of late. Let's go to the signings. So let's look at the quarterbacks. Recently, we've seen quite a few quarterbacks come off the board. Carl Robinson back to Beaumont. We've got Luke Bailey signing with Kentucky. You've got Tyler Kolker returning to Nashville. You've got Rob McCoy returning to Albany. In your guys' opinion, which one of these signings currently sets their team up the best for 2026?
Kokomania.
What's that, Krish?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think obviously, you look at what he did during the final stretch of the season to get him back. He's local. He's already getting working with the receivers. Him and Jordan Gandy have a great off-the-field relationship. So that chemistry is going to go a long way, for sure. But I love that kid that Kentucky signed, Luke Bailey. That kid he sling the ball real well. I've been looking at it. He threw like 5 interceptions and 389 pass attempts. So he takes care of the football. His numbers have improved. His completion percentage has gone up each year by a percent or two. So he's definitely. I mean, that's a good move for them, man. And he's a local D1 kid from Drake. I can't wait to see what Luke Bailey's going to do this year. For sure.
I'm glad you said that because I'm firmly excited about him in Cedric Walker's. I guess I say Cedric Walker's offense, but we're not sure who his offensive coordinator is.
Defense.
Yeah, what I mean is I know he's going to run an arena style offense. He's looking for more of a pocket passer, so I'm really excited to see Luke Bailey in that system.
I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be surprised if y'all see Reggie Gray back with Walker as the offensive coordinator in Kentucky.
That would be an interesting hire. I mean, he was currently the wide receiver coach in Bay Area, so he's still coaching.
He was supposed to be originally the OC for the Nashville Cats for last year. He was the original OC, was supposed to be.
Really?
So yes, he was.
I was not aware of that. See, get some nuggets on this show occasionally. So I'll have to clip that and put it all over social media so the guys that say they're dedicated fans can catch that.
I do want to say Robinson back. I know I've heard people say, he doesn't really fit the AF1 style, and I would agree. But that O-line, I mean, they signed Jake Oliphant. Jake Oliphant was easily one of the best linemen when he played for the Wolfpack in the AF1, and he was the best lineman in the NL last year. So, I mean, if they have a line that will protect him, I think they can do great. And Zari Davis can definitely stretch the field. So, I mean,
one thing scares me, Chris. They don't have a real play caller now down there. And one thing that separates, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Clinton Solomon as a head coach, but I love Clinton Solomon as an offensive coordinator. He is one of the best to do it, one of the good masterminds. If you give him a chance to just be an OC, he can go with the best of them. That's that OC. Head coach wise, I don't know. What he did with that Beaumont offense this year was nice. And I do think Robinson does fit the AFL. Where AFL is going now, I think he does fit that a little bit, and he's gonna do good numbers in there. But they got to have the right OC to help him out too.
I'm curious to see
that's enough of a network He has enough of a network. I mean, he played in the NFL, played at Oklahoma, played at AFL for a while. He has enough of a network to go out and find some really good OC in Texas, in my opinion.
I would agree. I'm sure there's options.
But how good of an OC you gonna find in those the AFL game? That's the thing. You can't just bring any OC in there who don't know AFL style rules.
I see that, but they've seen, and even last year, they're willing to invest in good talent. I'm sure they would be willing to invest in another coach on staff to create continuity and chemistry throughout the offseason, for sure.
It's Texas. There's got to be somebody down there that can coach arena style football.
And Coach Peace is perfect for the defense. That was my DB coach. He has a lot of experience in AFL when we was with the San Antonio Talents and other teams down there. He's perfect fit for AFL for the defensive side.
There you go. So at least they've got the D coordinator figured out. This comment struck me as interesting because I have not heard this name right off the top of my head, but Miles McCanvey, I think, is an underrated pickup. He was on the Showboats during the offseason and finished as a GDFL champion for the Huntsville Rockets. Did you guys see who he signed with? Because I don't remember seeing the same.
I haven't seen who he signed with either.
UFL Isaac, if you could drop that in the chat, we would love to hear that, because I did not catch that on the signings, and maybe it's just because it's not the name I recognize. He signed with Albany. Oh, okay.
I might have a coaching signing. We might reveal that next week. For a AFL team. If it goes through, I think this will put them in a better position this season coming up, and it really elevates their program and their offense. I know they went with D Millie at D coordinator, but they looking at bringing in a new O coordinator for the Wolfpack, and the O coordinator they looking at is pretty fierce.
Okay, let's talk about Washington really quick. I'm glad you brought them up because they were going to be one of the topics of discussion.
They got big signings going on right now. Ahmad Butler, a few other players.
Yeah, brought in Ahmad Butler, brought in Jug Russell from Falogi Russell from Jacksonville.
Jugs is crazy.
Jug, he's a good lineman though. He's one of the best.
So good. Oh my God! Last year in the NAL, as coaching the grown man, there's no D lineman in Omaha that can run with Jugs. Like, it was crazy. And the fact that Colorado, man, if I'm Tony, I'm getting on the phone trying to get him back badly. Because he kept Andre Sell clean in the pocket the entire game. He's really good. That's a huge signing for Washington. Their other signings are uninspiring. Quante Battle, he's been cut from every league twice. Like, I love Quante. He's a good guy, man, but he fits the outdoor game. Like, Ahmad Butler, man, I love Ahmad, but like, Ahmad ain't AF1. He's more indoor guy. So give
him a shot. Give him a shot.
But if I'm Washington, what I'm doing is I'm promoting J.R. Wells, the president, and I'm going across the street and I'm getting Coach Fuller, who lives in Washington. That's a smart move.
I like Jug. I get to see him personally do the offseason because he lives in Kansas City, Missouri. He works with one of the youth organizations, a national ranked youth football team, and what he does for those kids, teaching offensive line to them kids, it's done wonders in our city. So he's not only a hell of a player, he's a mentor and he's a pillar coming back to Kansas City and helping out the kids there with KC Dynasty Youth Football Organization.
That's awesome. We need more people teaching offensive line skills at a young age, because honestly,
I would not be surprised if Colorado gets him back. I'm just going to throw that out there. From what I heard, they're going all in to win a championship this year, and I think they can make one last-ditch offer to keep him in Colorado. So
ain't nothing final till camp, baby.
We'll see. And that's true. I mean, the part of these early signings is they could always be poached. So that is one thing about that. Unless you're Albany, in which case you're probably not getting poached.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I learned early last year in the AFL. Remember, I had signed a lot of players early, and coaches was going after them. So I don't think it's a good idea to sign early unless you got a person who's really bought into your organization. I will wait to see what after the free agency open and some of the transactions go on in other leagues to fill your roster, because signing early, can hurt you and help you. If you get another coach like or organization like Albany and them and come in there and talk to them, they got a bigger bag.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
We
there's a
had,
few.
I'll speak on us. We had 5 out of 8 defensive starters that we signed for the Pirates this year, and they left. Like 2 of them refused to report, 3 of them moved up. So, I'd say it was last minute ditch effort to fill those open spots.
That's definitely part of
Speaking
it.
of Pirates, what any updates on them? Are we going to Orlando? Or are we staying in Massachusetts?
I am honestly, man, like I got no idea. I'm trying to keep it up and just like I said, any decision Gerard makes, I'll stand by him. So I'm excited to see what the next move. I know he has big plans for the future of this team, and it's just it's an emotional roller coaster when you're a fan, and there's news and you don't really want to accept it, and then you have to accept it, and then you hear stuff, and it's just so much. So I just I've separated myself completely, and I've just really I'm just being patient at this point and hoping for the best. So
Sam, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So you saw that San Antonio hired Rod Miller.
Yes.
What does that do for San Diego? Because you just took one of their best coaches and their best assets from them. Are we looking at San Diego not coming back next year, or they got to find a new coach to fill their void? What are we looking at?
I've heard rumors that are pretty crazy. There could be a shakeup there. Well, I don't know if they're accurate. In fact, everybody I've talked to in the IFL says that is not accurate. So I don't necessarily know that they're leaving, but I definitely do think it signals that there's going to be some sort of transition there. And it might just be a whole new coaching staff, quite frankly. I mean, Taylor Genuser is a great coach, and I think that he's done well in San Diego despite some limited resources in the past. But he's also had some really good players as of recently and has not gotten over the hump. So I could see a situation where San Diego is open to retaining him, but also open to allowing him to leave for other opportunities. So it's just
You think so? I think he done good out there in San Diego with what he has.
He's got one of the best quarterbacks in all of indoor football, and they still haven't gotten to a championship. They've gotten in the playoffs, and that's great. Don't get me wrong. And they were very competitive, but I think you look across the board and they have some of the best players in the IFL, especially on the veteran side of things. So it's just, to me, it's tough to sit here and say that it would be impossible for them to replace him.
I honestly though, I didn't know even when he was here. I didn't know, I said this earlier, Coach Miller's ability to build relationships with players is crazy. I did not know. Man, when we had one guy stand up and say, "Oh, I'm going to San Diego," I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, Coach Miller's my boy." I'm like, I never even seen you talk to Coach Miller all last year. He's like, "No, that's my boy." And that's a lot of our guys. They built so close relationships going with Rod Miller. So that San Antonio, there's no secret they got money, right? So they can. I feel like he can recruit his ass off in San Antonio for that.
Does Roy Coy still own San Diego and Bay Area?
He owns Bay Area, San Diego too. Still?
Yeah, he owns San Diego. I've heard again
that he sold it. I thought he sold it.
I thought he had as well. To my knowledge, he is still involved.
Okay.
This is a good comment here from
Ricky. Ricky said, yeah, and that's true. Players, when I say don't sign early, because you got to know the coaches in the organization you sign into too as well. Because if you sign and then you want to leave, some of those coaches will not release you, and they have the right not to release you, and they can get you suspended in the league. So be mindful of where you sign and make sure it fits your situation and it fits the organization as well. Because at the same time, when you do sign early, you got an obligation to that organization to not talk to other teams and do other stuff with other teams. So really, before you sign somewhere, vet all your options and go what's best for you, because you might get a coach who will not release you, and then you're stuck like Chuck.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And I like this comment too. Like, yeah, man, if it's bad for my blood pressure, I'm either going to end up dead or disappointed. So I've separated myself, man. Too much.
Oh Lord, that's one way to say it. He's gonna either dead or disappointed. Let me just take a moment to remind everybody, hitting that like button is a huge assistance to what we do here. We're trying to grow this show every week, so if you could hit the like button, you could hit the share button, that'd be great. But it really goes a long way, no matter where you're watching. If you're on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, wherever you're watching, hit that like button, share. It definitely goes a long way for us. Ricky also says, or make sure it's an organization that has the track record of releasing players and not suspending them for those reasons. Omaha is one of those teams that will release a player. They just ask that you actually inform them you're leaving. There was a situation last season that popped up where a player got upset, and Ricky addressed it very publicly right on that player's post and explained to him why they suspended him and did not release him. So I'm sure.
And that player signed with another organization only not to play for them and was released last week. So he's a free agent officially. Stuff like that's crazy, man. Like,
but you got what Rob was talking about. You have to be professional. Not only does the coaches in the organization, but players. Y'all have to start being professional. No matter if you got a beef with a coach or a player in that organization, you can't publicly air that all the time and think that's going to get your way. Social media gives y'all a platform to do some stuff that y'all shouldn't be doing, which will hurt you in the long run. Being a professional, if you don't like the situation you're in, talk to your coach, your position coach, then talk to your coordinator, talk to the head coach and the GM. Go through the chain of command. And if y'all can't come to agreement, agree to disagree and mutually part ways. Don't bash the organization because y'all couldn't agree on something. Don't bash the coach because, like Coach Hendrix said, we a small knit circle. We do know each other from playing, coaching, all that. So be a professional. If you want to leave, just ask for a release. Don't lie and say, "Oh, I got something I got to do at home," or "I got problems at home," or I need to do this." Just tell them I want to be released. I want to go play for another organization. This is arena football. This is not the NFL. I'm pretty sure if you straightforward and honest, we're not gonna hold you back. But be honest and be a man. That's called being a man and being professional, and do it the right way.
Absolutely.
It's also like, why would you wanna, it's all right to field offers and everything. But like my thing is, till you sign somewhere, like this ain't no college football. I mean, like, do NFL players post all their offers? No, they just sign somewhere. It's the same thing here. It's like, like I saw a post from a player, and I probably on it. He was on the sheet to talk about too. It was like my top 3 places, whatever, and he ended up signing with Nashville. Why are you making a top 3 flyer? You're not a college crew. You're a professional ball player. Just sign with the team and shut up and move on. That's it.
Tell us how you really feel, Krish. Man, we're gonna. I think we've discussed all the AF1 topics for the day, so we're gonna hit a quick commercial. We'll come back. We got a couple minor topics on the AIF and the AAL involving teams that will be playing in those leagues, and then we might have a quick UIFA update after week 1, and then we'll get out of here for the day. So far, thank you guys all for sticking with us for the 2 hours we've been running so far. Definitely appreciate it. Like I said, remember to hit that like button. Also, if you have not done so yet, go check out Shady Sports Network merchandise at brandingblanks.com in the Shady Sports Network section. But on that note, we're going to hit a commercial. We'll be right back.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like Boomstick Lady. No free throw is safe from the roar of her sticks. SeatGeek helps her find a seat in the direct eye line of the shooter so she can sit where her boomsticks make the biggest boom. Everybody okay? SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Like three or four times, maybe.
I'm gonna pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
All right, real quick before we get to the news, we will pull this quote up here, right here. We didn't suspend them; the league did. We found out he signed elsewhere when the social media post was made, as typically happens. Being a professional, that goes for an entire organization from the top down, coaches included. Does a certain Harrisburg, Pennsylvania located travel team jump leagues now that they have a much closer playing option? Maybe. True. Players need to try their best to uphold any agreements. That is accurate. It's a contract after all. You sign it for a reason. And then please remember to hit the like button. But here is the news that we're going to discuss with the AIF. The Tyler Crude that were previously thought to be joining the National Arena League for the 2026 season has instead pivoted after announcements with the arena being possibly not available, that they will be pivoting to the AIF. I'm not sure how those two situations really tie in there, but that was what caused the delay for their announcement. Now they are announcing another league, so it's kind of interesting how this is all unfolded. But this is one of at least two Texas teams that we know about currently committed to play in the AIF in 2026, including the Austin Falcons. And man, there are about 27 teams, if you carry the two, that are playing in Texas this season, and yet they're somehow split between like 4 different leagues, which is crazy. But what are your guys' thoughts on Tyler Crude going to the AIF? Well, let's go to Krish first.
I mean, good for them, man. Like, I don't really know what you want me to say. Like, I really don't. I mean, it's the AIF to me is not a legit league. It's still not a legit league. It's it's semi-pro league to me. I don't take that level of ball seriously. To me, it's like adult recreational, style. So, you can sign with them, or you can, go join the local flag football league at the Teamworks. The same thing to me. So I don't really have anything to say. I'm dumbfounded. This is the same ownership group that goes from city to city. They burn different markets, and so they're gonna burn Tyler and probably burn it too and steal money from them. So it's just
who is the ownership group?
Same guys that are involved with Shreveport, Richard Rogers, and
so they have Shreveport and Tyler. They trying to do both.
It's believed Keith Carter took full possession of Shreveport, and he's a Shreveport local. He didn't like how things were being run, so he was either going to split off and create another team, or he was going to buy out the other owners, and I guess he bought them out, and now they're trying to launch the Crude.
I saw Keith at the Quad City game, so he was recruiting. He was trying to recruit Neil.
Bro, all that dude Ricky does, man, he just sits there, eats Cheetos, and just scams people, bro. Like, he's one of those. He's different than one of those scam callers you see in those third world countries. That's the type of guy he is.
From what I heard about that ownership group in Shreveport last year, it wasn't pretty. So them getting bought out was it was probably the best thing they could do, get bought out. But now you send in an ownership group that wasn't successful last year to start a new organization in Tyler, which Tyler is a great community. You don't want to burn those bridges there.
That's what I'm saying, but they are. That's his track record. That's what he does. He goes to city, he takes money, he gets in his van, and he goes to the next city. And then it's like, oh, you learned his lesson. It's like, that's what everyone was saying last year. He learned his lesson. He's new and improved. And then 3 weeks in the season, players are not getting fed. Players are getting arrested. They're not helping the players. The coach is leaving. It's a complete disaster. So this is going to be the same. He's probably going to be the head coach himself. Like, I'm not going to.
So now you got the North Michigan Muskies, Cedar Rapids River Kings, Tyler Crude, and
Austin Falcons.
Austin Falcons, and then you got the Michigan team.
Pennsylvania Union.
Oh, Pennsylvania Union, and then the team that won it last year.
Yeah, I don't have a
so they got
map.
They got 6 teams, but I don't think it's beneficial for them. Honestly, I think this league is under the UIFA right now and the AAL. I think they are
Oh, it
really
definitely is. It
a
definitely.
tier 3 league. Don Montero, I love him, but you got a guy who runs the league who is not suitable to run this league. He just goes from city to city, starting teams and not fulfilling the obligations in those cities to build up those programs first. You move the Chaos team to North Michigan, so that's just really the Coralville Chaos rebranded to North Michigan. You
Oh
you
yeah.
have you have another guy come in and help you Krantz take over Cedar Rapids, which Cedar Rapids is the burn market by you already, and you still trying to go in there and beat a dead horse. That's not gonna happen. And then they do, yep, the Mid Michigan Grizzlies is supposed to be another team joining. So then they have 7 teams. It'll be a 17 league, and they play 6 games for the whole season in a playoff. That's not a real league.
Wyoming Calvary as well. We forgot them.
No. I think the Wyoming team, something fell through with that with Dom, and I don't think he's gonna do that yet.
Oh, okay.
Well, and can I just bring this up too? For me, it's like, Cedar Rapids, they're building a decent team, but outside of that, a lot of people online and social media will be like, more opportunities for players. Let's go. Like I said before, like for who? For who? The washed up, out of shape Tyrone Washington to run around like who? No one wants to see, 37-year-old guys who are past their prime playing quote unquote pro football. It's over for you, man. So that's
Yeah.
what like bothers me about these leagues. We have too many leagues. We don't need
If
50,000.
you looked at the Chaos last year, they roster average 30 years old. Most of their roster players were over
Yeah, it was
30.
horrible. They were horrible.
So just like with the River Kings, a lot of their players was over 30. So you just putting together semi-pro players, bringing them in, paying them $50 to $75 a game, which that's something. But you what the product are you putting on the field just to say that you have an arena football league? That's not the way to do it. I think teams like the team that won last year, who has a sustainable organization, should really go join the NAL or the IFL. I think these other teams who's coming in, if you really plan on being
No.
here,
You can't, man. I love you, Coach B, but don't put IFL and AF and like, no team can make that jump from the AIF.
well, I'm talking about the other
No.
team that won the championship. They've been around, they sustainable, they've
Yeah,
never had
listen,
money
no,
problems.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they never
but
had money
the
problems.
arena,
They got good ownership. Uh, they just need to do it the right way. I feel like a lot of these teams is cutting corners to save money. But if you're gonna be an arena team and you really want to compete and put a product out there year in and year out, you have to be a year-round organization and you put them in a sustainable league that makes sense.
Look, I'll say this. I'm glad that there's an opportunity for players to play. Don't get me wrong. And I understand that a lot of these guys are semi-professional players. And that's, for the record, there's a place for that, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
The AAL2 developmental league, that's the place for it.
Well, yeah, and I would personally say the film you get from AAL2 is probably better than what you get from the AIF because they actually invest on the production side of things quite a bit. I can attest to this firsthand. But it's just one of those things where I'm personally never going to knock a team for doing it the correct way. So if they're launching a team and they're paying guys what they promised to pay them, even if it's $50 a game, at least they're going that far. But I have to question adding the Tyler Crude and maybe adding them to the AIF and dramatically lowering their salary cap helps them possibly create a sustainable organization. But I have a lot of questions about the whole formation of the AIF. I have a lot of questions about why, as the West Michigan Ironman, you would want to compete in this league. I mean, I guess it makes more sense if you bring in Mid Michigan and you bring in North Muskie. All of a sudden, you have 3 regional playing partners. But there's definitely some questions there for me. But
Still, the level that they bring of players and competition to the other teams in the league, they beating teams by 50 points every game. Like it's no competitiveness.
True, and that's the big thing with them. Like I wish they would just go to. I wish they would go into the NIL or NAL. I'm sorry, or a league like that. I think they'd be a good fit with the AF1 right now, especially if they do actually have the the Kalamazoo team come about. But we'll see. You know, it's just one of those things. But there is another announcement from the AIF, and we're not going to spend a ton of time on it, but this is something that I wanted to bring up that I thought was interesting. And I'm curious to hear Krish's take on this one. Randall Fields hired as the director of pro player development. Krish, I'm sure you have a thought.
I don't even know who that is. I have no
I
idea.
do. And my thoughts are not positive. This is the same guy this year who called me about trying to put another arena team in Omaha and said he had the city of Omaha backing him and he was going to bring an arena team there to compete with the Beef. That never happened. Same guy we was going to hire last year with the Iowa Rampage to help build relationships with the semi-pro circuit that he runs the NFA. And let me just tell you, we had to let him go in the Iowa Rampage organization for some misconduct with women. So I don't think this is a good hire at all. Just the situation that
Oh,
happened
it's
with my
that guy. Okay. Yeah.
yes with Randall Fields. Yeah, him. Uh, not a good. Not a, he got good intentions, but not a good guy.
Yeah, that dude's a freak. Yeah, no, I'm not sold on this at
Yeah,
all, man. Like,
and I'm
yeah,
gonna be
no.
just as transparent. I had to let Randall go for sexual harassment of one of my employees. So
Well, I guess that's enough said on that subject. So, obviously, probably not the greatest hire in the world, but you know, opinions are made to be made. We got Mid Michigan Grizzlies in the chat right now. We're definitely interested in joining the AIF. Uh, I'm curious, Mid Michigan, and you can answer this in the chat. Why not join the AAL too,
or the UIFA,
or the
some real
UIFA?
real developmental leads.
And I'm not trying to advocate for any league, but I mean in AAL too, you have literally what you've got the Michigan Raptors, I believe, and then you may or may not have the Avengers coming back, which I know you guys have a kind of a rivalry with already. Why not, you know, go play against them? Or if you want to play professional football, why not go up to the AAL, compete against the Wheeling Miners and the Columbus Lions, which we'll be
Yeah.
talking about here in just a second. Josh Resignaldo tuning in. He said, "This league coming up about an international travel. What's that about? I spoke my mind about it, and some got upset about it. Sorry, I'm just realistic. Travel alone will kill that league. Hope it works out for the players, but I've been around way too long to know travel like they plan is not going to work. Your thoughts?" I'm not going to lie. Was not going to invest even a moment of time on this show into that league because it is not going to work out. It's really, like you said, it's one of those things. Business matters when you're talking about an arena football team. Money is not just endless, and no ownership group is just going to throw money hand over fist at something that is not ever going to turn a profit. So, while international,
I'm not gonna lie. I just gotta say this. This just sounds so wrong. But the other night, I may or may not have been a little, whatever. But I created a logo for a fake league, and I was gonna create like a fake Facebook account. I was gonna call it like the West Coast Football Association or something, and like make all these fake AI logos and stuff, and see if I could generate interest. But I'm like, I thought that would be so bad. And this is what these people are doing. It's completely fake league. They're just picking out cities, and I just don't know why. We give people like that attention. Like other media outlets, they feed them information that's not going to happen, and then it makes them look bad. It's really sad.
yeah,
I knew it was fake when they said that the Vegas team, which is supposed to be the Las Vegas Kings, is playing in the Orleans. I tried to get a contract when we was working with the Kings, and I know for a fact the Orleans said they will never have arena football in that facility again because AFL, when they had it back in the day, still owes them 50K. So when they said the Orleans was gonna be one of the spots for the Las Vegas team, I knew it was a scam.
that makes sense. But we are going to move on to a league that we know for sure is not a scam, and one that Coach Rez knows very well. Real quick, we're going to hit one more commercial break. This one will be a nice short one, and then we'll come back and talk about the AAL.
This is current. It's the card my parents used to pay me for mowing the lawn, running errands, and doing well in school. This is the card I used when we got the idea to make our own clothes. And we spread the word, drove downtown, and sold everything we made. This is the card I use to do the things that really matter. This is Current. Visit current.com and download the app for free today.
I like this. Nick Alabama says that's a perfect case study. Is doing the AI teams and do it. The sad part is there would probably be people that would fall for it and immediately start reporting on it. It's just one of those situations where a lot of people don't like to check a ton of their facts. But I wanted to bring this up. Now, as you can tell, we got the Wheeling Miners pulled up right now. The Wheeling Miners and the Columbus Lions both had made the decision to withdraw from the NAL after the 2025 season for the 2026 off season. And partially is due, or more than partially is due to the travel situation. You look at the way the NAL is currently assembled, and they were realistically out kind of on an island over there on the eastern side of the country. So they made the decision to leave the league, and there had been whispers about the fact that the AAL was going to make a comeback with those two franchises as the stalwarts for 2026, and it has finally come to fruition. I'm very excited to see how this league pans out personally. I know for a fact that the people involved with the AAL2 and the AAL, they understand what it takes to keep teams around for the long haul. You know, the New Jersey Bearcats have been around for a long time now. They've always been able to make improvements year over year, and it may be a long-term outlook for this league, but I believe that eventually we will see them kind of grow into, I don't want to say a rival, because obviously, to my knowledge, there's still a good relationship between the NAL and the AAL, but this is going to be basically the East Coast version of the NAL. And for better or worse, I think it's going to be a situation where, long term, we might eventually see some sort of partnership or merger between these two leagues if, it continues to grow like they had planned in the AAL. So I think this is good for arena football because we're kind of breaking stuff down regionally. But I wanted to get your guys' thoughts too. I obviously have a lot to say about this subject, but Coach B, what do you think? Thoughts on this one?
I was thinking what you thinking. Why don't they just merge and then just make the AAL a conference in the NAL for the East Division, and they build teams up in that to get teams over there on the East Division, and then you just play East versus West conference, and in the playoffs you meet in the middle. I think that's the best thing to do. Or we get these leagues like the AAL, UIFA, the WIF. I just need to make one league, honestly.
I would agree. And I know there's some politics and stuff behind the scenes that prevents some of that. But with the AAL in particular, I could see a realistic scenario where that happens down the line. The thing that I would think prevents it currently, right at this particular moment, is that you only have the two Eastern teams. So I think if you had a few more teams in there, maybe it would have already happened.
That's what I was going to ask. Have you heard of any more teams joining the AAL? Because at first I thought the Dallas Bulls was going to do it, and they went NAL. So what other teams do you have now to make that league sustainable, or to join that league and make it more enticing?
This is just off the top of my head, and this is not based in fact or conversation that I've had with the AAL or AAL2, just for the record. But if I was looking at teams to talk to and see if they could make the jump back up, I would be looking at teams like Mississippi Wolfpack. I would be looking at a team like West Michigan Ironmen. That would be a team that I would want on the phone right away. Because they're kind of on the east and they make a lot of sense to kind of bridge the gap from the east to the west. I would not expect them to really branch too far out travel wise, because like I said, I think one of the the big reasons why the Miners and the Lions left was travel in the first place, because their nearest travel was like Omaha, after Carolina folded. So the Carolina Predators, I don't think they could do it in 2026, but if they got another year, built up that fan base a little bit more, got some more ownership additions and sponsorships, I think they might be able to make it happen in the AAL. I think that's probably the bulk of the teams right off the top of my head.
Think the Cobras would come back and join this league?
I don't know if the Cobras will be coming back, but if they do, I think it would be a lot more viable for them to join the AAL than it would be to try and go back to the NAL, especially in their current alignment. Krish, what are your thoughts on Wheeling and Columbus joining the AAL?
Yeah, I think I'll start with Columbus. Columbus is a historic franchise, and they're never gonna play in a higher level league like the IFL, or you know what I mean. Like they made a commitment, and I think they realized last year, they realized twice that it was too expensive for them, for the ownership, and that's why they're always looking for new ownership partners. When they did it the first time, I was like, okay, and now it's like, no, like they really need the money type deal, and so their field and their facilities are not the best. Wheeling is a really good market. And that scares me for that market, because that's a really good market. They got the hockey team, the Wheeling Nailers. They sell out like every game. So I really hope they don't like tarnish the reputation of Wheeling Arena football by playing in this low-level league. This is the low-level league. This is not – I don't even need to see what teams are going to join. There's 2 teams so far, and we're in almost October. Like, it's not going to be good. It's going to be a very average league, and I agree with Coach B. I think they should merge with the AIF and WIFA or whatever. Like, they should, at least make it respectable. But
see, we had a comment in here. Did you see that? It say, what's the difference between AAL and AAL2? Because a lot of people don't know. So can you guys explain that? What's the difference is?
Yeah, absolutely. AAL2 is strictly developmental football. Teams are allowed to pay or set up NIL deals with players, although the norm is they are unpaid and doing things, in an effort to make it to a professional league. The AAL, however, is paid. It is a professional-based league. I see another comment in here that I want to address. It says 2 teams don't make a league. You're right, 100%, without a doubt. That is 100% correct. However, at the same time, you have to consider the fact that there is the AAL2 right there that they can use to fill out games to make a full schedule. Now, obviously, you don't want to play a bunch of semi-pro teams if you're a professional team to fill out your entire schedule. So I'm positive there are conversations happening behind the scenes with other professional organizations they believe that would be a fit. I'm not sure who would be those organizations at the time. I just brought up, some teams that I would be talking to if it were me. But this comment cracks me up. They won't merge because it makes too much sense. That's probably accurate. Then Joshua Resignaldo said this, or these teams can all do what's needed to do and just be in the NAL. But what do I know? Hope it works out for the AAL. I guess I will have to wait and see what teams will be in the
It do make sense. Just either go NAL or AAL 1, 2, WIF, AIF, and UIFA all become one league and compete with the NAL and the IFL and the AF1. Then you got 4 sustainable leagues. And you do it by tier. You got IFL, NAL, AFL, and then you got the lower league, and do it by tiers like that. That way, you still getting film, you still developing players. They get to move up, and now they get to go to viable leagues, and it's going to help each league get more money, build corporate and league sponsorships to build and to grow nationally or for the rest of their life.
True. I mean, I get it to a certain extent, but at the same time, I also understand the travel aspect of things. We've got a couple more comments I want to get to.
Travel aspect, Sam, if you're an owner, you got to think that if you're going to play in an arena football league or anywhere, you need to be having that marketing, players and coaches' salary, and travel should be the top 3 things you do before you even say you want to be an owner. make sure you
Yeah,
have money to do all three of those.
absolutely, but you can only make so many projections, right?
But like,
So
I'll be honest, I'll be straight up. Like, and this is my opinion too. It's like Coach Reds, he did everything for Wheeling. Man, like that man probably spent more time with that franchise than a lot of other GMs across the country. Man, like that, he put in so much work. I mean, he probably working 25-hour days in Wheeling. So good luck to them to try to replace him because they're not going to replace him, no matter who they hire. That's the reality.
well, I'm curious to see who the new GM is that Coach Hendrix discussed earlier. But a couple more questions I want to get to. Are the leagues
I think
associated?
it'll be Chris Mott with the defensive coordinator. He lives in Wheeling, but the problem is he coaches college football too. So he might need to get out early from that and miss spring practices. But he's the defensive coordinator at Wheeling University, which is a small Division III in Wheeling. So
Gotcha. Texas Pete says, are the two leagues associated between AAL and AAL2? Yes, they are the same ownership group in both leagues. Same, everything's the same. They're just a professional version of the developmental league. The AAL was shut down, I think, in 2019, if I remember correctly. And they did that to kind of restructure, regroup, and move forward into the future. I definitely agree. I'm new to Arena, but I see so many leagues and teams pop up every year, and I keep thinking, why not just have one or two leagues and build conferences? This question has so many layers to explain for a new Arena football fan. Basically, what I would like to say to you is, first of all, there's a lot of politics. A lot of these ownership groups have worked together in the past. Some people are not the greatest individuals in the world, and they say one thing and do another. And there's some groups that just will not work together anymore because of things like that, or mistakes made in the past that were honest mistakes and stuff like that. So there's that. Then there's so many different organizations that have different revenue streams, different backing financially, different market size, different arena size, different rule sets that people want to play. I mean, you could go on and on for days about why that doesn't happen. Should it happen? Absolutely. I think we're all of the same thought there, but it's just there's so many things that go into it that it's probably just never going to happen from a large.
It's such a fast-paced sport.
He learning quick though, Sam. That's Demetrius Morrow is my receiver coach with the Power. So his first year, and he's learning fast on the go about arena football.
I apologize, Coach. I was not aware that you are actually coaching Arena, so I'm glad to hear that you're invested in it. But Coach Rez says, and travel isn't that bad. If you want to be in a legit league, you're going to have to actually pay money for stuff to be viable. Wheeling travel is probably the cheapest in the whole league. I know that because I was there. I have a hard time believing it was the cheapest in the league, but I mean, you would know better than I would, so I'm not going to argue with you. Here's another comment that makes sense. The Peach State Cats for the AL, they could potentially be in one of those leagues, whether it's the AAL2 or the AL. They make a lot of sense. Orlando Predators.
Yeah, that's Coach LeBron's favorite. It's Coach LeBron's favorite developmental team, the Peach State Cats. He loves them boys in Peach State. That's like his NFL junior team.
Well, they have some legit players, I mean, they've produced some legit players. So
that next question that you just said, Sam, I'm anxious to know too. Have we heard anything about the Predators? Are they coming back? Did they get a new ownership group? What's going on?
I haven't heard a thing. I don't expect them to come back at all anytime
soon. Man, if I can hear the word Orlando one more time, I swear to God, I'm going to kill someone. Like,
whoa. Okay, let's consider our words, Krish. Very recently, I'm not sure if you're aware, there was a rather big news piece about somebody dying. So let's tone down the killing people statement, please.
It's okay, buddy. We know you might be going to Orlando.
Krish is in mourning.
We know you might be a real pirate in Orlando. Now you can be a real pirate in Orlando, not in Massachusetts.
Yeah, you might actually see the ocean from where they play.
Yeah, aye.
Krish is still trying to come to terms with the fact that his team may be relocating. So we apologize for his statements about killing people. I promise he is a stable individual and he will not be harming anybody else or himself.
Quick question: if Orlando does get the Pirates, is it another arena there that can hold the Predators too if they eventually came back?
I'm sure there's multiple arena options. I haven't looked into it too much, but I think if you're trying to go play in the Kia Center, you're looking at a very expensive season. So whoever it may be that goes to Orlando, I would highly recommend that you look into other options. I mean, that's a large arena to fill out for a team that either has never been there before or has not been there for a couple seasons or a season at this point at least. So that would be something I would have some serious concern about.
And the weird thing for us is, I'll tell you guys. So we added a co-owner this year. His name is Jeff, and he's like a local businessman up here. Well, I thought he was up here. I thought he was from Lowell, and he came to like 2 games all season, and he seemed really excited. Unfortunately, we got blown out both of the games he came to, but he seemed really excited about the team. And then I found out later that he's from Arkansas, and he's not from Lowell. So I don't know how I got that confused. But when I hear like Orlando, when I hear whatever like about relocating, I wonder how much of a part like he's playing in this big potential move, whatever. So it's
UCF Arena, Ricky hit it
There you
on the
go.
nose.
man, I'll be honest, man. Like, I'm not speaking on anyone's behalf, but like I know my boy Jawad, man. Like, he's a boss. He's not doing any second-tier arena. If he's doing something, he's going all in with it. So, you know.
Hey, if he
AJ
wants to
Rowe.
lose $100,000+ a year, more power to him. Wookie says, could we see AJ Roque put together some sort of pro-level jersey team with his recent efforts with the ANTFLA? I don't think so, because that was one of those leagues that was going to have league-owned teams. So in order for something like that to happen, it would involve working directly with Douglas Freeman, who we have come to find out is really not the most legit person in the world. So Wookie also says Orlando has smaller options, which has just been said before. This comment cracks me up. Krish needs to come with a disclaimer. Hi, my name is Sam. I second as a disclaimer whenever needed. So I will definitely chime in anytime. Don't assume there are multiple arena options. It is probably the hardest part when getting a team. I would second that, maybe even third that. If you don't have an arena, you don't have a team, quite frankly. So travel teams are great, but we have all watched them come and go over the years. So, yeah.
So in that case, Sam,
Western people thought we were moving to the Garden. There was people that legit thought we were moving to TD Garden. TD Garden costs like $48,000 a night to play it. Like, so, like, that's the thing. Like, people don't forget, like, these arenas, they cost money. And, like, there's a lot of arenas that don't want indoor football. Like, straight up. Like, I'll tell you. So we have a school out here called BU, Boston University. And that was a big, thing, a rumor I was hearing about us moving there. But they don't want football, they said. So it's like, you can't really, arena is kind of, my perspective, and I'll kind of make this quick, like, arena leases are one of the biggest expenses when starting one of these teams. And the issue is like, the arena has to want you. You can't want the arena.
Yeah.
And you see what I mean? And that's kind of the problem we're running into with Low. I feel like they don't let us tailgate. They don't let us do anything. So it's like it's like, what, you know what I mean? Like, it's not. That's symbiotic.
So the question I got for both of you guys: if you were up and coming owner or someone wanted to get in arena football, and you purchase a team, would the arena lease be the first thing you go after to make sure you're good with that and your arena is on point before you start building the team or whatever? Because I think that should be the
100%.
first tier.
100%. And this is, I'm not even going to sit here and say this is from something that I have determined. This is from talking to people who are a lot smarter and more experienced than I am. But my first move would be arena lease. If you don't have an arena lease, like I said before, you don't have a team. So you get that knocked out first and foremost. Then my second thing would be get a good GM who's experienced, who can start selling sponsorships immediately. And I would also say the longer run up you have to actually launching that team, the better, because then you have all that time to secure funding outside of your ownership funding. and then on top of that, sell merch and everything else along the way as well as season tickets as well. So
I've
I would
already
say
talked to my uncle and my dad. So I'm committed to putting a team in Manchester, New Hampshire, by 2032, and I'm going to put the team in the
oh
NAL,
yeah.
and I'm going to make it National Arena League team. I'm going to overpay everyone $900 across the board. No one can stop me. I'm putting this out there. Like, if I ever own a team, I will be overpaying people to win. So that's just what I'm doing.
Ricky said it best. You do the arena and then you do your workman's comp. First two things you do. And I think you need to get if you do it, I think you need to get a president in there to help the GM too, because your GM can't solely be the one getting sponsorships. Get a president who has stake in becoming an owner eventually down the line. And his whole sole job is to make sure your front office runs right and help with sponsorships and corporate sponsorships.
Exactly. Running an arena team is not as easy as running a podcast. You cannot survive off affiliate sponsors.
I do have a question. And I know we're having a good time here, so whatever. But I do have a question for you guys. What is the benefit to like a big arena, like the Kia Center or like the TD Garden, to have an indoor football team? You know what I mean? Like, think about it. All the events these big time arenas have going on. Like, what's the benefit for them? What's in it for them?
Like you said, I think the benefit is only benefit you have if you got a big arena, if the arena wants you and the city wants you. That's another thing. Quit trying to go into cities where they've been burned by arena markets, or they don't have the financial backing, or if the city's media average cost of living is 50,000. They're not going to invest in arena football. So you gotta go and find a place or a city where it's really somewhere that they want you. The city wants you. The average cost of living is a little bit higher where they can afford that, and that the arena actually wants you. So I think those are the factors.
This comment strikes me as odd. If Jacksonville or Green Bay buys the Pirates as is possible, they will probably go to Orlando. That's the first thing I've ever heard.
If that happened, man, my boy lives 10 minutes down the street from me, man. I'm getting in my car. I'm showing up at his house because that's not going to happen.
Yeah, because he needs to start negotiating terms on his purchase of the Manchester, Massachusetts team, right? No, that's a wild rumor. I don't know if that's out there. That's the first time I've ever heard that. Green Bay's owner is a Disney junkie, and Jacksonville wants that Orlando-Jacksonville rivalry back. Okay, I mean, you have some logical points there, don't get me wrong, but that is the first time I've heard anything about that. Yes, and you need the city to buy in for these arenas. Some have been burned by past teams, as mentioned. Money doesn't matter. If the arena don't want you, it does not matter.
That's true.
Yes, Krish, you want to be in an arena that wants you, aka the Slaughterhouse. Wait, my podcasting experience won't translate to arena football ownership. Time for plan B. Hey, I didn't say that. I just said it's not as cheap. You got the money? Go for it, my friend. In fact, sign me up, hire me tomorrow. I'll be your GM. Okay?
Like, for me, I kind of know how much it's going to cost. You know what I mean? And, like, I've been around this for 9 years, out here. So I'm not going to be the sole owner. Like, I already have people that I know that I can call up or whatever and ask for money and stuff. But it'll be fun if I do.
No kidding, Sam. My 99 cents per month is not paying for anyone's travel. You're right. Definitely. Rumor is those two owners are in talks. Mike Davis.
Dave said not true.
I don't know where you got that information from, man. That's crazy. I don't know if you're a lifetime subscriber to Inside the Walls or whatever, but I seriously don't know. That's crazy.
Leave it up to Krish to get a jab in there whenever he can.
Man, he never seems to fail us, bro.
I know, right? So okay, transitioning over to UIFA update. Coach, I'll let you take this one away. You've kind of got the pulse on the UIFA. I know week 1 just happened. Unfortunately, you did not take home victory, but St. Paul looked pretty good. What's your assessment of the league so far?
I like what Cody brung with his team in St. Paul's Bear. They're going to fight to the end. They hard-nosed. They don't slack off. I like what he has in that team over there. Tonight I'm going to see the Wisconsin Aviators, the league champions, and the lead owner Lawrence Peters. He played the Bears, so we're gonna see if that was a fluke against us the first week or not. So we're gonna see the real test. Ohio Boom came out and put up 60 points against the Blitz. The Blitz was originally supposed to be in this league, so and that's an in-town rivalry. So they've been playing each other for years. So I like what they put out. My biggest thing is I think the lead is doing what they supposed to do. We had all four. We had games played. No games were canceled. Nobody's complaining about being paid or anything about housing or anything. So I think the league is growing and building and doing what they supposed to do. As far as us, we made a big
The
signing
side,
this
you
week.
want to break the news? You
Yeah,
got to break the news, Coach. Come on now.
we signed Tyler Lawrenstein and an offensive lineman Patrick Cole this week. So it's gonna be a little different. I told you I'm bringing the powerhouse. Week one didn't go as we planned. We had our QB1 injured. Had to fill in and do some things early. So I think we're gonna build it up. But I think the UIFA is going in a good direction. One of these shows we will have the owners on there, which is Anthony Bartley, Molly Pitney, and Lawrence Peter. They're gonna hop on here and we can pick their brains and talk to them and see where their vision is and what direction they're going for the next few years. Also, I got insight. Most those three are owners and coaches. They owners of the league and coaches on their team. Some of them and owners of their team. So we'll bring in Jabari as well, the owner of the St. Paul Bears, and probably do a UIFA segment here in the next 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are working on something
Before we get out of
beginning
here,
October.
before I know we're running low on time.
You're good.
I mean, Shady, I'm surprised you're not getting your weekly massage of your boy Tay. You don't want to talk about James Terry, the groundbreaking hire in Pueblo. I mean, the sky.
Yeah, Terry is a good hire, and it complements Solo. They play with each other. They know each other. They run the same system. So I think that's a good hire to complement Solo. Honestly, I don't think that is a bad hire. That might help Tay and them out. Only thing I'm scared of, Tay didn't have a great season in Claire. Then he jumps to a bigger league. I don't think he's gonna have the success he thinks he's gonna have. I really don't think Tay or Solo ready for a head coaching job. I think they just good coordinators, and I think we keep giving them head coaching jobs, and they're not ready for them yet. But they are prepared to be great coordinators.
I agree. Like, what happens when you put Mentos and Coca-Cola? An explosion. This is going to be an explosion. Pueblo doing a great job building their franchise. I love Lisa. I think Lisa is a really good owner, and I don't even know Lisa. I never even met her. But I from what you tell me and what I see, man, Solo and Tay, I love Tay. He's a nice guy. But you know me, man, I don't ride anyone. I don't give anyone massages. So where I'm from, I'm going to say how it is. So I think, Tay is, all the young excitement. Him and Solo together is going to be an absolute disaster, and it's going to blow up. They'll probably win 3 to 4 games at most. They'll finish like 4-6. If they finish above 500, I will retire from journalism. You can clip that. If they finish above 500, I will retire, bro. I will retire because it's crazy.
Don't ask for something that you don't really want yet. So
no,
I will retract that because you never know, things might change.
I'm standing on business, bro. I'm telling you, that boy Tay and Solo, they don't know what's coming for them. It's about to be horrible. I see Coach the Girl in here. Hey, get that belt out, Coach. Them kids need to learn the hard way because they think they can just run their mouth on social media talking about, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Nah, man. That belt's coming out.
Are you done now? I just want to listen while you're speaking in first. I'm just curious. It's funny because I believe 2 years ago on this show in 2024, when, correct me if I'm wrong, Solomon was the head coach of the Wichita Regulators, right? Weren't you a big Wichita fan? I'm just curious.
Coach B, he
That's
told me.
Coach B.
That's
because of Coach B. It wasn't Solo, okay. It was Coach B. And I can attest to that. If you notice, when Coach B was at the Iowa Rampage, there was no talks of the Wichita being even a contender. When Coach B went to Wichita and brought some of those that roster changed up, they became a contender. So it is, I ain't gonna lie, Chris was not a fan of Wichita until I went over there and he started seeing me help Solo change the culture. And then Coach B did have to leave because the way the culture was out there, I wasn't attest to and I didn't agree with. I left because some of the things that was going on out there wasn't how it properly supposed to be. So he does know that.
Oh, I believe it. I'm sure he has
I'm
everything.
happy, man. I'm really, really, really happy for you, Shady, because you can take your kids to games and you can show them what not to do in professional coaching. You can show them what not to do. So it'll be good. It's a good lesson.
Shady, just being truthful, I'm still owed money from Wichita. Didn't never get paid out there yet.
Oh, I believe that wholeheartedly. Wichita was working every angle they could to keep that thing afloat, and and trying to do everything they possibly could to also sink it at the same time. So,
I don't understand how I recruited most of the players, helped out over there, and I'm the last person to get paid.
I wish I could say I was surprised. I'm not even a little bit surprised, but. Wookie says, love Facebook or love football is determined to will the Pirates out of existence. I wonder why that account might have a little bit of a bias against the Pirates. Maybe perhaps because she's involved with Green Bay. Maybe. Just a thought.
Coach Davis had a good one.
As a new potential owner, if you can't cover the cost of operating budget without a ticket sold or sponsorship brought in, they should rethink their investment. Too many owners think they can operate on just ticket sales and sponsorship money. If you don't do well in ticket sales or bring in any sponsors, then you're screwed. This statement is incredibly apt. He would know all too well. There are very few organizations in any league that can operate like that and make it work, and typically those ones that can are the established franchises that have been around. They have a strong following, they have a strong sponsorship base that returns every season, and they have really, really strong salesmen operating the organization. So just a thought process there. 170 days, the standard is the standard. The standard is the standard. That's
beefed
the
up,
Coach.
What do you say? When you say beefed up? Yeah, man, it's about to be so fun. I can't wait. I love his comment about Negron and his peg, and man, that's so much. That's so fun.
It properly prepared him for being a professional football coach, right? There's a little bit of parenting involved when you're managing a roster, I'm sure.
No, but he's so ready. Like he won't. Like he's not one of those guys who is gonna go out and like talk trash. He'll be humble, but bro, like I promise you, he wants to kill people this year, and it's gonna be crazy. And your Pueblo guys, man, they better like get out of the way, get that smoke, man. You better get that spray. It won't be fun. I hope you're ready, Tay. I hope you're ready. Tay should have stayed in Eau Claire. He should have stayed in Eau Claire.
You're talking a lot of smack, Krish.
I'm saying, bro, like
for a guy who parades every single person who's ever been hired by Massachusetts as the greatest thing since sliced bread, it's really funny that you're so against me supporting somebody I actually personally know and have had a relationship with for 5+ years at this point. But you, a coach you've never met in your life, you have zero knowledge about, if they're hired by the Pirates, oh my God, they're the best guy that's ever lived. Ever. You can't say anything bad about it. Don't ever talk bad about the Pirates. But Krish will talk bad about anything you like or love. So just keep that in mind. It's only a one-way street, though. If you say anything about the Pirates, it's completely wrong. Which is funny because I don't know if you guys have known this, but in 6 seasons as a professional football team, the Massachusetts Pirates have had 6 different head coaches. And guess what they're in the middle of? A head coaching search. So it makes sense to me that a Massachusetts Pirates fan would not value coaching. Yet here we are talking nonstop about a coach in a team that does not even play in the league of your favorite team. And you just can't keep his name out of your mouth. Every week we're bringing him up. Every week we're bringing him up. You literally find a reason to discuss him every week. And you talk to me as if I'm massaging him and saying he's the greatest coaches of all time, which I have never done. I do not do that. I do not do that like you do about Pirates coaches. What I've said is I think Tay, with the proper resources, is going to be a good head coach. And I have never once said he's going to go out and win a championship or he's going to be in the playoffs or guaranteed anything record-wise, because I don't do that stuff. All I know is what I know. I know Coach Brooks is a good coach. I know he's a solid recruiter. I know he's going to bring in a talented team. If he doesn't end up in the playoffs, so be it. It's his first season in the NAL as a coach. Same thing for, Clinton Solomon. He's a first-time head coach in the NAL. So if they don't make the playoffs, guess what? I'm still going to be a fan. I'm still going to continue to support them. No, I'm not going to call for every coach to be fired because it's their first year in the league. But, you can laugh and you can talk all this crap about everything you want to talk about, but don't forget, buddy, you are the biggest homer in the world, bro. There is no speaking ill on the Pirates in your presence without you immediately attacking anybody who has something to say about it. And I know this because if you look at the comments right now, everybody's on my side with this. So I'm just saying. Like I said, I had a lot to say there. Didn't necessarily mean to get too heavy into that, but it has been a pretty ongoing thing since Tay was announced as the head coach that I've been getting daily jabs.
Coaches. That's the only thing that rubbed me wrong, and that's why it's not going to work. That's the only thing. If it was just him, I would be fine. But co-head, nah. I've been around this long enough, man. Like, trust me. Trust me.
No, I get it. I completely understand, and I have qualms about the co-head coaches as well.
And I know you want to talk about our head coaches or whatever. I respect every one of those men that served as our head coach and our leader. The time is right for everyone, and I can't wait to see who my boy hires next because I know this one is going to be the best one. Trust.
I sincerely think that they're probably going to end up with a good coach, for the record. But you'll notice that I typically try not to bash your team until you've spent a season worth of bashing the teams that I support, and then I go ahead and chime in. But it's okay. I completely understand. You've got strong opinions. That's why I love having you on the show. We may have a fiery relationship on camera. Trust me, it's just as fiery off and just as competitive off the camera. But at the same time, I love Krish to death, for the record. So if anybody's questioning anything that I just said or that I give him a hard time on camera, me and him have a great relationship. I will tell anybody who wants to listen, this dude is one of the hardest working kids in media I have ever met. So just want to throw that out there for anybody thinking that we may have a contentious relationship. We do not. We just
it's all part of it, man. Skip and Shannon. You know what I mean? Like that's what
exactly. Exactly. We got to entertain y'all. That's part of it, right?
Except they're not like I think like Shannon is, but
okay. Trey says when the schedule is dropping. You said that earlier. It was like this. You said October, right?
Yeah, I heard October 15th yesterday. I didn't get that confirmed, but someone I talked to said October 15th.
I'm sure Tulsa will be slighted in every direction.
Every.
He said that last 5 head coaches.
I did say 7. We had 7, but yes.
You're right. You're right. Sorry, it was 7 seasons. Right, my fault.
Man, when Coach Griggs was hired, I was so excited. I was going around telling people like, man, like he's gonna be great. I even told him that. I said, I'm so excited for you, man. You're gonna lead us to the promised land. The whole world hates you. And then I walk in one day, he's not there. But that's what it is, man. Business is business.
For the record, I just want to say that I was a fan of that hire too, because when Griggs was in Duke City, he did not have the kind of talent overall across the roster that Massachusetts has on a year in, year out basis. So I thought that there was a realistic possibility for him to come in there and really do something differently than he had done in the past. So
bro, I'm gonna be honest, I'm saying we just need someone to come in and coach. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to recruit. You don't have to go on social media. Jawad will find you the best guys like he always has. Everyone knows this. So don't stress it. Just come in with a playbook that actually works. Get us first downs. get us touchdowns, and lead us to wins. I don't need to hear anything else. That's it. Get the job done. That's all I
Hey, but
want.
don't you think Yawad needs to concur with his head coach so they can know what scheme they need to run and tailor the players around that scheme?
Yes, I would think that's an important part of the. Yes, I mean you have to have that cohesion between who's recruiting and who's coaching. But at the same time, I think we've talked about it at length on here. Jawad will pretty much go out and improve any position you want as a coach. Basically, you go to him with a shopping list. I need a quarterback. I need a wide receiver. I need an offensive lineman. Have fun. And 9 times out of 10, within a couple weeks, you'll have some transactions. And I mean, when it comes to that, I think that that personally, I think that he's one of the better GMs in the league in terms of recruitment. I think you're always going to have a high level of talent in Massachusetts as long as he's there. Now, whether or not it pans out in a championship, that's up to the coach. To be quite frank, I'm not trying to talk smack here. That is 100% up to the coach. You gotta fit those pieces together and everything like that. So, Jawad, at the end of the day, he doesn't play football. He doesn't coach the team. He assembles the roster, so he can only do so much.
And that's why I think he needs to concur with his staff on assembling the roster because he don't coach. He don't do none of that. So day to day, they have to have something to work with. In the NFL, the GMs concur with their coaches on players they're drafting or who they're gonna get, so it can fit their system. You can't just bring in anybody and think that's gonna fit what the coaches is doing and think that's gonna be successful too.
I like this comment from Coach Davis here. It's easier with monkeys, but he really meant money. Anyone can recruit when you throw out cash. That is an accurate fact, and that is part of it. Don't get me wrong. Massachusetts takes care of their players from everything we know, so that's definitely a factor as well. But let's wrap this bad boy up. It's been.
What do you want, Davis? You want our guys to starve in the streets? Like, I don't know what you want. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we treat our guys well, and if you're not happy with it, then I don't know, man. Like, come get the smoke.
That's the only thing I don't agree with Coach Davis. I think it does take money because still this is a professional sport. Some of these people leaving their families, compensate them. Don't underchange them or anything like that. Compensate them for their time. Because they in the IFL, y'all playing 19, 20 games. Their bodies is taking a beating. I think they should be paid a little bit more.
And regardless of what, like, I've been around this, bro. Like, regardless of what he pays them, and I don't really know, but like, he takes care of them. Like, they have housing, they have meals, they have, the sponsors are pretty good. Like, I mean, I know a couple guys who got jobs and stuff, but they're like, it's good, it's not bad. So, like, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, a team needs to do this, this, and this, and then when the dude goes out and does it the right way, it's now it's a problem. Nah, bro. That you can't switch sides. So I see what you mean, Coach Davis. I get your point, but you'll see my point. You'll see my point next year real soon.
Another ambiguous statement from Krish that may or may not come true. We shall see. I'm sitting over here with the trophy. I agree, guys should get paid more. It's up to the teams to provide food and housing for players. See, so Coach Davis is on the same page. We all want players to get paid more, but at the end of the day, this is a business. You have to stay solvent. You cannot just throw money around, nonstop, without it having eventual repercussions, unless you're, got more money than God. So, I believe I hit a nerve with Krish. Possibly. We talked about the Pirates.
Hey, Coach Davis, you always do. Anything you say about the Pirates, nerve is automatically activated.
Yep, 100%. 100%. But as we kind of close this up, any final thoughts from you guys? Krish, anything you got?
No, I'll Coach B, you go first. I gotta say,
I just tell everybody, man, keep believing in arena football. With your comments and y'all bringing forth your knowledge on here, all we can do is help these leagues get better and build because we want this to last. We want this to build year in, year out, and keep going for another platform for these players to be able to play professional ball on. So don't hold back. Keep it real with us. State your comments. And if it's unrealistic, we know that. If it's realistic, we gonna agree with you and put it forth. But these leagues need to hear this. So stay tuned, hit the like button, and follow the Iowa Power. Coach Negron, Coach and Ricky, I'm bringing about 4 or 5 players to your tryouts. And I think I got some sleepers for you.
Krish?
Yeah, no, I mean, when we made the decision to, carry the show through, it was good. It was easy, because of all the support we get. And so it means a lot. I appreciate everyone. I appreciate how raw we can be. I'm never going to hold back. And that's one thing about me, man. Where I'm from, we don't hold back. So I always try to, put the pedal to the metal. I was a little hungover today, but I still showed up. And I'm always going to show up, man, regardless of the situation. So, just be patient. I'm trying to be patient. I know it's hard, but there's a lot of news coming within the next couple of weeks that I'm really excited about. So really looking forward to next week's episode. And we got a good lineup coming up for the next couple of weeks. So I'm definitely looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah, next week's episode is going to be real good. You should definitely tune in. We've got some very
to the end, of course.
Yeah, he was just riling you up. I love it, Texas
Raise
Pete.
my blood pressure for no reason, man.
You are welcome in the chat whenever you want.
I was so close to getting off this and calling you out immediately.
He's like, I had him on speed dial. I was already dialing number. I was waiting for the outro to hit. So my overarching final thought for today is support your local indoor arena football team. If you're as lucky as I am and you have 2, divvy it up a little bit, spend some money on one, spend some money on the other. But realistically, that is 100% what keeps these teams alive. It takes your support as a fan. It takes the support of their city. So don't only, just support your team. Go see a game. Bring a friend who's never seen arena football before. Help them become a lifelong fan like we all are. Most importantly, we really appreciate your time. Most importantly, we really appreciate your time joining us every Saturday and tuning into the show. We've had some unbelievable support this season for this team, or this show, and this group of people who are, reoccurring hosts on the show. So we really appreciate everything you guys have done for us. We really appreciate all of our sponsors that have provided us with the opportunity to keep this going. And more importantly, we really appreciate all the players and coaches and owners and everybody else who has come on the show to help us grow it to what it is. We, like Krish had said, I have made the decision to keep the show going, but that is going to be, as far as in the off season, that is dependent on the people still showing up and watching. So, all you guys showing up, watching, commenting, hitting the like button, all that stuff, it adds up to us continuing the show week in, week out until next season comes. We'll keep you informed with all the latest news from all the different leagues. And then, as we go in the off season, we might start mixing in some other leagues that we don't really focus on as much. Like we mentioned, the UIFA, we'll have a show about them. We're probably going to do a show about the 9-man league and have some guests on from them as well soon. Kind of try and shine a little bit more light on some of the other leagues that don't get as much attention. But as always, I really appreciate everybody who tuned in. Like I mentioned, go check out the Shady Sports Network merchandise on brandingblanks.com. Go get yourself some beef gear from the link in the chat. Krish also has his shirt on. Love it. So
if I would have known, I would have won my beef jersey today. I got a beef jersey, so I would have wore it today if I would have known.
There we go. We'll have to link up next time on the.
I got some more gear and I got a couple of stuff coming on the way, so I can't wait to do an unboxing video. And yeah, I love wearing my gear, man. It's good.
Absolutely. And also,
we got us a beef pirate fan.
Check out the NAL shop. I will say they've got some great things on there. The checkout process is really nice and clean and easy to use. So definitely recommend that as well. But also make sure you're following along. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the second YouTube channel we have. It is Shady Sports Network Live Events. We have quite a bit coming up, including 2 different events today. We've got a rodeo and Mountain West football coming today. We've got TNA wrestling coming up. We've got more rodeo events. We've got a ton of stuff coming out on that channel. So if you haven't done so already, make sure to go subscribe on there and catch a bunch of live sporting events coming up. And on that note, catch you guys next week. Thank you for everything.